Last night, you spent 2 hours deciding what to wear to the party. This morning, it'll take you 2 minutes to list it on Depop and make your money back. Just grab your phone, snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. The sheer dress and platform heels you'll never wear again? There's a birthday girl searching for them right now. Your one and done look is about to pay for your next night out. Or at least the ride home. Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on. Or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Hi.
I was invited out here to see scouting in action, remember?
Well, you can see Lem in action later.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Buena Vista Boys, and on today's show, we are talking about that classic Boy Scout film, Follow Me, Boys. And, you know, I've talked about this for a long time. I love this movie. I don't remember too much of it. I remember certain pieces. You know how you do from your childhood. You're like, oh, I've seen this movie. I love it. And you watch it. You're like, I don't remember any of this at all. And then then when the scene that comes up that you remember, like for me, I'll tell you. For me, it's when one of those kids falls off the cliff and they have to go rescue him or whatever. Yeah, I remember that scene being so much longer and the end of the movie. It's not at all. It is very, very short, very brief. And there's still a lot of stuff that happens after it.
So almost dead center, really.
Yeah, I was slightly appalled by how long this film was. It's a monster movie.
Yeah. Well, I know for it to be a slice of life film on top of that, with no major peaks, valleys, villains, it does feel like you live an entire life with these people.
Yes, you absolutely do. And it's okay. Yeah. It's a good life to live. I would love a life like that. It was great. And, you know, even as a jaded 48-year-old fart, I was like, and I got something in my eye a couple times. This is so sweet. Everyone's so nice to Fred McMurray.
Yeah, it did win me over for sure. Like, I didn't know what to think going in because I felt like it was going to be very slow paced, and there was going to be pieces that just dragged. And there was going to be like a lot of long dialogue. Movies of that era that aren't made by Disney did have these very, like, they didn't know to fill space or to cut space down. It was a lot of people walking across rooms. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen a lot of movies from the 60s, but it's like there'll be no dialogue, but then there'll be a ton of flat dialogue, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yes.
And this movie always kept the dialogue conservative. It kept it to the point, and there was always a little bit of energy in each interaction. Like nothing was wasted, which I kept you engaged for that long runtime.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how they put this movie together, because it is, like you said, a slice of life. It follows the story of this, grown man, this middle-aged man already. Mm-hmm. So we don't need a backstory on him. And he comes into this town and kind of just puts down roots, as he says. And he's just a really wildly popular, character, and does a lot for the boys in the town over the 40 years or whatever the movie covers. It covers a long span of time. I think it is actually 40 years.
Starts in 1930.
Of this guy's life, and and the impact he's had in the town. And it's like, how do you do that and make it interesting? Mm-hmm. It's really, without the heavy use of montage, and that's what this movie does. But the theme song they have, the "Follow Me, Boys," is a catchy tune, and so you don't really mind hearing it several times throughout the movie. And it's just, if you have a movie about Boy Scouts, then you're just the montage writes itself. Like, well, we're just going to be marching all the time. And I think it's almost like those those like newsreels that they would play during World War II movies, like before the movies, where it's like update from the front.
Yeah.
There's like kind of like low angle shots of like men just marching or whatever, and like
marching into France. Yeah. No. And what I also thought was great about this, which is hard. This is hard to do because they start, obviously there's going to have a lot of stuff with the kids, and that first group of kids, you get to know them really well, and you're like, well, this is going to last a long, like this is going to go into many, many years later. These kids are going to grow up. And so every group of kids that he has is somewhat unique, but they made it likable. Like it wasn't like the first kids were likable, and then the second group of kids or the third group, whatever they show next is like, who are these idiots? Like who, where's our original guys back? Where's our hoodoo? Right. They made them likable all through, which was very cool. Yeah. The whole thing. And I think it is hard to make kids likable in movies. Yeah. It is. It just, and especially, you have these almost, I don't want to say tentpole, actors, but you have these like kids who hold up the entire movie because they're the same age, right? Like, the kid in Sixth Sense or whatever, they have your standouts, right? But for the most part, kids in movies that are the same kid for the whole movie, if that makes sense, suck. They're just not good because they don't have the life experience to draw on to do different emotions and stuff like that. Yeah. But they found multiple sets of children to kind of do that. And the casting was great. I thought the acting was great. I love this movie. It is not, it's not like necessarily a creative tour de force, but it's just a really classic movie to put on. And you're just like, oh man, everything is great about this. Everyone's great here. I think it's the kind of stuff that Disney did best. Like when everyone gets on Disney for like, oh, this is a toothless movie, this doesn't have the grit of like other movies of that time. Dude. It's like, but this is like, if you were going to say, what does Disney do in that form of, I mean, I don't think agree that it's toothless, but it's like in that folksy home style, wholesome form, like this is a very gold standard version of that. Like the kids would fight, but then they would make up. And it was a very good way of showing conflict. Like they did a great job. And like they did a thing in it, like almost like a non-corny way of when the kids would do something, they'd be like, instead of going, that's stupid, they'd be like, hey man, come on, shape up, get in line, let's go. There is, I am not trying to be, back in the day, kids listened more or whatever, but with my own child in Scouts now, that place is a wreck, dude. The Scoutmaster, and it's all volunteer, of course. So like, you can't really rag on anybody too hard. But like when I was in Scouts, even me, when I was in Scouts 35 years ago or whatever, there is no way that we would be getting away with doing the nonsense that these kids are doing now. And it's almost like you do need someone to be like, hey, bro, shape up. Like, what are you doing? Stop. But you would never hear that now. And I don't know what that is. It could be just parenting styles. It could be whatever. But it is interesting to like see that kind of, I don't know, maybe romanticized version of parenting from like the 50s and 40s. Yeah. Where it's like, I will hit you if you don't, which is not something you want to say. But like these kids were just like, they're on a hike and they're complaining. And he's like, hey, shape up. And they're like, what does that mean? Like, get in line. They're like, okay. Well, and then they started doing it to each other. Like, that's what I liked about it, is like the idea that the kids would keep themselves in line. Like there's a conflict that arises between like Kurt Russell's character and a couple other kids. And it's like, they don't dwell on it. They go, hey, all right, stop. It's and over. Then there's no grudges. Yeah. There's not like, sometimes in movies you like this, you can have like the main characters kind of hold grudges and then try to get back. Like Harry Potter's a perfect example. Sure. Of like a kid's movie that just, there's a grudge the whole time between a lot of people, right? Yeah. This movie doesn't have that. It is very much like, hey, we fought, we got told to knock it off, and we dropped it. Let's go. And we dropped it, and we're friends now. And there's some moments, and I feel like I use this in the most positive way, and I'll point them out when we get there. But like Fred McMurray's character is like very kind, but he also has what I would consider like the best version of masculinity, where he says what he's going to do and then he does it. And he's kind when he needs to be kind, and he is firm when he needs to be firm. And that's even with people from town, like the guy, I guess you could call him the villain, like the person that is dating his soon to be sweetheart. Like, he has some moments with that guy where he's so gently firm. I'm literally learning lessons about how to be a person in the world and set a boundary where you're nice, but you're firm.
This is the thing about boundaries in general. They are the greatest thing to have in life, in family relationships and friendships and work boundaries, right? Sure. You got to have them, and you have to express them too. And you're right. And I have that clip. I think that's what you're referring to.
Good.
Fred McMurray, just in no uncertain terms, he's not mean about it. He's not aggressive about it even, but he means business.
Yeah.
And Absolutely. It's great. And it's like, wow, this is really good. So I agree with you 100%. It is a classic. I don't know if it's classic, but it's just a fantastic version of male leadership.
Yeah.
And, that's not to say that that's the only version of leadership around, but as an example of that, this movie, it's not toxic.
For all the people who clap back at you, like yelling and being aggressive, putting somebody up against the wall, it's like, this is a great version of getting results by just being firm, knowledgeable, and also by kind of telling the kids, hey, you're probably going to be teaching me as much as I'm teaching you to tell you the truth.
The other thing that stood out for me, and then we'll get into the movie, folks, but the other thing that stood out to me was how important it is to understand children's brains before you start being involved in their lives as an outside source.
Sure.
Right? Like as a teacher, as a mentor, as an educator, because he sees Fred McMurray sees these kids goofing and screwing up and screwing around, and he doesn't punish them. He just tells them, all right, that's enough. We better get going. Let's do this thing. Cause they're number one, they're boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're kids, and they're good. They want to dig through a junk pile, and they want to do stuff like this. And there's no weird punishment. A couple times I thought, oh man, these kids are going to get it. And he's like, hey, why don't we get back to work, guys? And they're like, oh, okay. And then they do it, and it's fun and it's fine. Not everything needs to be a learning moment, a teaching moment. Not everything needs to have a punishment attached to it, or a lesson to be, sunk in. It's just like, I don't know, man, let kids be kids, and they play, and they don't need to be disciplined every single time, especially when they're in the wilderness building stuff. It's fine. It's okay.
Well, and him being able to show that restraint shows them that they can have that restraint. So it's like when they disagree with each other, they're like, okay, well, how would Lem deal with this? What have we been shown is the best way to get over conflict? Well, okay, say your thing, and then find a resolution quickly, and then let's just move forward. Well, I just think more people in general, humans in general, could just learn a lot more about communication from this movie, to be fair.
I agree. I forgot how kind of solid it was in that regard too. You know what I mean? And Fred McMurray is definitely just like a man without a care.
Yeah. Well, and he has like hardship too. Like that's the thing is it's like, and it's not like he's in a situation where he's like, oh, well, I cannot care about anything. I have a good job. I make good money. Nothing bad ever happens to me. And it's just the dude, just like he thinks, he does, and he acts. That's it.
Yeah. There's a certain level of respect for that. And also there's a certain level of like societal freedom to be able to do these things. And of course I talk about it because me, I have to, but it's like, oh, okay, you're just going to uproot your life? Love it. You couldn't do that today. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. But anyway, Matt, let's get into this movie. Let's talk a little bit about it.
I know. I feel everyone's like, oh, yeah, this is so great. Well, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah. Why don't you follow me into the next segment, Matt?
Womp, womp.
Melody, he says, first honest job someone offers me, I'm going to take. Selling candy to kids. What could be more honest? You want roots? A place like this, you could grow yourself down to China.
off with my brand new segment, characters we're going to meet during this movie. We have good old Fred McMurray, of course, as someone called Lemuel Siddons. I had never heard the word Lemuel in my entire life, but there it is. It's like Samuel, but funky, you know? And they call him Lem. Then we have Vera Miles Then we have Vera Miles as Vida Downey, who's the love interest of the town, apparently.
No doubt.
We have Lillian Gish as Hetty Siebert. And now that's a name I've heard referenced in, I don't know, source material that references old, like, silent films.
Yeah.
So I was excited to learn more about her and to, like, see her in action.
Hardworking woman.
Yeah. Charlie Ruggles playing John Everett Hughes. And notable others are Kurt Russell playing Whitey, which I think was his first role or maybe second role as a kid. I forget.
His first Disney movie for sure, but I think this was maybe his second feature length movie.
Oh, man.
He had done a little bit of TV.
Okay. Let me tell you, this kid, every time we talk about him, every time we see him in here, he knocks out of the park, dude.
Yeah.
He was just a good kid. Good acting, man. I
yes. And it was so good that his character made me very angry all the time. Like that's, you're a good actor when, like, your character's constantly pissing me off. Because it's like, because right. I believe you're that character.
Yeah. The opening credits roll over a rousing bed of marching music. A weird kind of squashed bus thing drives up the road. I didn't know what to call it. It's not like a school bus. It's very weird and compact and crazy looking. It's like more rectangular, and I don't know. It was odd. And it belongs to a group of musicians called Melody Murphy's Collegians. And they're just, like, playing music in it. And, there's a lot of jazz music is kind of pouring out the windows, and it's all painted on the side. Like you would imagine the 1930s, traveling band of musicians bus would look like.
Yeah.
We push inside, and there's a bunch of older guys, probably in their 40s, but life was harder back then. So who knows? They could have been 25. I have no idea, but they look road worn, man.
Yeah. That was a head scratcher from the beginning, is like, how old are any of these characters? Because they talk about, hey, I'm not getting any younger, but yeah, for all we know, they're all 21.
That's true. Well, yeah, you have no idea how people aged back then.
This is 1930, so it's like they might be halfway to the grave.
Yeah, we're not getting any older. Yeah, I know you're 59. What are you doing? Anyway, the guys are, like, reading salacious magazines, or one of them is playing slide trombone or playing poker or making a peanut butter sandwich. Like, there's actually, like, they're musicians, right? They're jazz musicians playing jazz, and but like white people jazz, like Yeah,
no, it's like Disneyland jazz, like it's Disneyland jazz.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's like someone's on the snare drum, just like cooking. He's just going, and they're playing cards. It's wild, dude. They have Argyle socks pinned up on a makeshift clothesline, and you just know it smells crazy in there.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have long sleeve shirts on, some even with their necktie still. Some have on sweaters, some have jackets. Everybody has a hat on, and it seems very uncomfortable and hot, and probably very sweaty. I know, dude.
Just like, oh my God, like multiple types of brown liquor on their breath.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. They're sweating it. There's a for sale sign on the side of the bus, so who knows? Maybe they can make a buck or two and buy some clean socks at the next stop. The camera pushes through everybody to find Fred McMurray sitting in the back of the bus, talking to the owner of the outfit, who is Melody Murphy. And Fred McMurray could not look less like a jazz musician if he tried. I mean, he just looks like Fred McMurray, but everybody else looks like a road-beaten, haggard-ass jazz musician.
Yeah.
And Fred just looks like he's fresh off the set of My Three Sons or whatever show he was in.
Right.
Really, I doubt he ever has had to have a wardrobe change in his entire career. It's always the same slacks with the shirt, and that's it. That's all he ever wears. Anyway, we get a little knowledge about what good old Fred is up to in this movie, and a little astrological reading at the same time.
Hey, counselor. You're a Pisces, right?
Right.
Okay. Then you gotta watch your step today on account of the moon being in Virgo and squared with Jupiter. See, it says right here, Pisces, be careful of vital decisions today.
Okay, Melody, I'll try and be careful.
It also says this is a good time to take stock of your worldly possessions.
Okay, one saxophone, one suitcase, one set of law books, $2 and 28 cents cash. Oh, by the way, does it say anything in there about our back pay?
Oh, look. As soon as I sell the bus, I'll pay every man every dime I owe him.
I know you will, Melody. All I'm saying is we're not exactly collegians anymore. The years are piling up, and what's the show for it?
We'll get something on radio. That's the big thing today, radio. I've got connections in Chicago.
Yeah. You know something, Melody? The first honest job somebody offers me, I'm going to take it.
What do you mean, honest job?
I mean, it's time I got off this merry-go-round and put down roots somewhere.
Roots. Every time you start studying that lawyer course, you start putting roots down again.
Yeah. It just looks like it stinks in there. And Melody he's smoking one of those cigars that has the green wrapper, so you know it's quality. It's just like, oh my God. You couldn't pay me to be on that stupid bus, dude. Well, this bus stops in the small town of Hickory, which looks an awful lot like half a dozen other movies we've seen already. I wonder why. The men pile out, they get refreshments from the corner store, and they take a break before heading on to Chicago. And Fred McMurray looks around and goes, wow, what a great little town. And then he gestures over to a car that is kind of parked on the side of the road. And he goes, hey, look, Melody, an electric. And I didn't know what he was talking about, but he's referring to the car, meaning an electric car.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This movie takes place in 1930, by the way. And I had to look it up. Like, at this point, you kind of can, you can guess, you know what I mean, if you have half a brain, but I don't. So I'm like, oh, maybe they're just dressed like this. Who knows? But I had to make sure. And it's 1930.
Yeah.
But I'll let Matt talk more about the electric car reference in his segment after the break.
And also, if you want to know more about electric cars, look back at our 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, where we talk about when electric cars were created.
At any rate, break's over. The bus starts to load back up with all the guys to head on to Chicago. But Lem sees a sign in the shop window advertising for a clerk position. Melody teases him like, hey, you want roots? You could stay here and grow roots all the way to China. And Fred goes, you know what? I'm going to do it. You jerks. So he takes his stuff off the bus and he just says goodbye to Melody and then shouts, all right, Charlie, get out of here. And the driver just kind of drives away. And Lem says nothing to anybody else. Nobody else on that bus says anything to him. They don't even notice he's not on the bus. And I sort of felt bad for Lem, but I also just felt like there was guys being dudes at that point. You know, it's like, oh, Lem's gone. What a nice man. And that's it. And they just go back to losing money.
0 F's given that he is off.
Yeah.
Like,
he's our saxophone player just left and they're like, whatever.
Right?
You know,
that was amazing.
Yeah, it was like that old Steve Martin bit where he's like, they should have given FDR a banjo to like say bad, to deliver bad news, Yeah. He's like, 'cause you can't feel bad when you listen to a banjo. It's just like that. Like you can't be depressed that your saxophone player left because, when you were going da 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 dee na na.
Right. I know when you're down 2 bits in a card game, you can't give a crap about a saxophone lawyer.
Yeah. I got to darn my socks at the next stop here. As Lem goes into the Hughes Mercantile building to apply for the job, a group of like 10 or 15 boys comes pouring out. Now, these are the same boys playing baseball in the square when they approached the town, which I didn't mention because I wasn't entirely sure if we would care. But they descended on the tour bus like a herd of locusts. Like the bus came like, oh my God, let's go check it out. And they stop playing ball and they go over and check out the bus. They're climbing on, they're opening stuff. They're going wild. And Lem, kind of what we were referring to earlier, Lem, doesn't yell at them. And I think a couple of guys maybe were like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And Lem just gives them, he goes, here's 2 bits to go buy licorice whips to get them off the bus. And of course, I had to look up what 2 bits was. It's 25 cents.
Yep. And like 25 cents for 9 boys to get licorice whips? What an economy.
Yeah, I know. All these kids, they come rushing out of this Hughes Mercantile, each one with candy in their mouths for 25 cents. These 9, 10, 12 boys, each had candy. I'm starting to think capitalism sucks. I don't know, man. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, Lem approaches the shop owner with his pitch on why he should be hired there.
How do you do, sir? My name's Lem Siddons. I'm out of Chicago, Lakeside High in the United States Army. Since then, for 8 years, I've been blowing a saxophone and studying law on the side. Now I've decided I'd like to settle down someplace, and, well, I think this is it. I could be a crackerjack salesman, or I could sweep the place out.
You can work up to salesman later.
Thank you.
How about money?
Oh, you name it, sir.
$25 and a free go at the candy counter.
You've got a deal, Mr.
Hughes.
Okay, Mr. Hughes. I'm your boy.
All right. Stand right there. Come on, Arthur.
Well, I guess that takes care of the moon and Virgo squared with Jupiter.
This must have been what life was like in the 30s, Matt.
Yeah.
You could just pull up to any town and get a job instantly. You don't have to worry about where you're going to live or how much a room is even going to be to rent, or even be concerned about the salary of the job you're applying for before you quit your other job. Whether or not that job is going to cover your expenses, because you don't even have any expenses because you haven't even rented a room yet, but you know that it's probably going to be covered. It's going to take care of itself.
Yeah. See, and that's what I thought too, is like he starts sweeping the floor and I'm like, where are you sleeping tonight, man?
Yeah, I know, dude. Shouldn't you be out getting a job, getting a place to sleep?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
But sitting overnight in the park.
He doesn't care, dude.
Yeah.
The moon is aligned with Virgo or whatever it is.
Also, for people at home, that gentleman, Mr. Hughes, is the same actor who is, I believe, is it Grandpa Joe, or from The Parent Trap, where she's smelling him and she's going, "I'm making a memory." That same actor.
These movies are time capsules about what life could be like now if we didn't have investment firms buying up properties or billionaires.
Yeah. BlackRock
Anyway,
was not around.
Sorry, I digress. Later on at a town hall meeting, the subject of the youth of today comes up and how the town could better serve the boys that are generally very good. It's kind of the consensus of the group. The boys are generally cool, but they do get into trouble. And they name two specific things, like stealing apples or putting tin cans over cats. And I wish that was a euphemism for something else, because it's a really good euphemism, but I have a feeling it's literally putting a can on top of a cat.
Well, they used to slip. They'd take a can, put a string on it, grab that string around the cat's tail, so the cat would then run and just like clank the can.
Oh.
And then the clanking would scare the cat even more and just get it to run infinitely.
Oh, that's funny but cruel.
Yes.
Don't ever do that. But it's like you're bored, man. This is what life is in these backwater towns, man. Are just like, well, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Let's scare animals for the last 20 years of my life.
Yeah, these are the towns where the stick and the hoop were invented. Come on.
Anyway, Lem is there with his sort of recent love interest, Miss Downey, who works at the bank across the street. He's sitting like right behind her, and she's writing a note on this piece of paper, and she underlines it, and it just says Boy Scouts. And so Lem is like kind of peeking over, and he's like, well, he's trying to make a good impression. So he decides to steal her idea. So when someone goes, hey, any ideas? And he's like, yeah, why don't we form a Boy Scout troop? And the mayor, who's leading the meeting, says, yeah, we get that a lot, but nobody ever wants to be the scoutmaster. And then Lem goes, well, I'll be the scoutmaster, I guess. And, Vida, who Miss Downey's like, oh, yeah, see, check that out. And the whole room erupts with applause. They're like, finally, we got our sucker. And the whole thing is very clearly just a way for Lem to impress Miss Downey. And it seems to be working. And I absolutely love that.
Well, yeah. Because she's sitting next to her, I guess her boyfriend or a guy who's sweet on her that she works with at the bank. And she's like, you should do that, Ralph. You should be doing that. He goes, I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely not. What I found interesting, though, is, and again, it doesn't really sink in till later. Why did she have to write herself a note to remember to say the words Boy Scouts?
Yes.
When the mayor goes, yeah, people mention that all the time. It's brought up all the time.
I know. And she had YMCA crossed out. She had some other organization crossed out. So she's having these ideas and then saying no immediately.
Drug usage. Why not get them addicted to drugs?
Prison.
We'll open up a clinic.
No.
And then that's too advanced for her. So Lem has all the boys in town excited to be in a Boy Scout troop. There's a couple scenes later. He's marching the boys through town, and everyone in town is applauding them as they walk past. It's like they're going off to war. Like, Yay, you're doing it. They love what they're seeing because these kids sound like they're just kind of little shitheads.
Yes.
But, basically good, but kind of also a little terror.
Just like, I don't know, like gremlins, just in everything, just touching everything.
Yeah. And there's like 10 or 15, but I've yet to see any girls their age. And that's how you know that you can't just leave all these preteen boys to their own devices if there's no girls to chase either. It's like, well, now what we're going to do, we're going to hit rocks with bats.
They've got this testicle energy.
Yeah. They have a very hard time listening to Lem, and I think at least a third of them would have prescriptions for Ritalin if this movie was set in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
After a brief encounter with a local tough kid played by a very young Kurt Russell, the boys are marching through the countryside. I don't know where they are. They're just somewhere, and they stop, and Lem decides to give them a little coaching in the best way to march.
You've got a lot to learn, but believe me, I've got to learn as much as you do.
We'll help you, Lem.
Thanks, Hoodoo. Guys, why don't we try to make this a scout troop the whole town will be proud of, huh?
Oh, they'll never make it, Lem. Never.
Well, we can at least take a stab at it, huh? Now, when we start off again, why don't we see if we can't sort of shape up, huh?
What do you mean by shape up?
Well, when we march in time. Together. You know how they do.
Yeah.
One thing that'll help, baby, in this book they suggest that we get some sort of a marching song.
Yeah, we don't had a farm.
Tin Little Indians.
You're in the army now. Hey, well, what about the dying cowboy?
What kind of a marching song is that?
It's a funeral march.
Well, maybe we'll think of something as we go along, huh? Okay, the minute's up. On your feet, fellas. Let's get in line. Like I said, let's try to shape up. Okay, get on the packs. Get in line, fellas. Snap it up now.
Voodoo, what are you doing?
Okay, now. Here we go. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, 2, 3, 4. Up, 2, 3, 4. All right, guys, lift those feet up. Come on, lift them up. Pick them up, put them down. Pick them up, put them down. Yeah. Pick them up, put them down, and follow me. Hey, guys, I got a marching song for us. Follow me, boys, follow me. Pick them up, put them down, and follow me.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Well, it's something our old outfit used to sing over in France. We made it up about this sergeant we had, Sergeant Riley. He was always hollering, follow me.
Well, then sing it, Lem.
Well, let's see now. How'd the verse go? Sergeant Riley said there's a fight to win. Follow me, boys, follow me. And it won't be done till we all pitch in. Lift your chin with a grin and follow me. Now the chorus. Follow me, boys, follow me.
When you think you're ready, that's the time to lift your feet and follow me, boys, follow me.
Anyway, and they're marching, and we get one of many montages where, as the scenes cut, the flag gets better and their uniforms get better. Because right now they're literally just wearing ragtag, whatever.
Just clothes. They look like the kids from Sandlot.
Yeah, exactly that. And some of them have like true backpacks, but most of them just have. Like one kid has a pillow wrapped around like a rope, and then the rope is just looped around his shoulder.
Yeah.
And, like a bedroll and I'm going, man, if these kids even knew about modern hiking backpacks, they would be on cloud 9. I don't know. Like maybe they're not even going anywhere. They're just like training, like, hey, bring something heavy to wear because we're going to get used to it. But they just look bizarre right now. That looks like almost like a post-apocalyptic. We're going to go look for resources at the Sears down the road. So get ready.
Yeah.
Well, we get our marching song, we get our theme song to the movie, and we also get our title to the movie. So we're marching again in the next scene, but it's like 3 weeks later, according to Hoodoo, which is one of the little boys in the Jughead cap. And that's the other thing. All these boys have funky names. You know, one's Beefy, and I bet you can't guess what he looks like. One is, Hoodoo. The other is, I don't even know what it is, man.
Whitey.
Yeah.
Need him.
And as they're out marching along, they run into Miss Downey and Mr. Hastings from the bank, Ralph, right? And they're zooming around in their little motor car, and Mr. Hastings blows right by the scout troop because it's a dirt road, by the way. So he blows right by the scout troop and he kicks up dust all over them. He's a real jerk about it. But by a lucky turn of events for Lem, later on in that same sort of like setup, he finds Miss Downey trying to start the car that had just passed him. So she's all alone. Apparently, Mr. Hastings had gone off to get a tow truck because he doesn't know anything about cars. Apparently, like most normal people. He's like, oh, you don't know anything about cars. All right. Lem has all the boys push the car down the road into town because he's like, well, why wait for a tow truck? We got all the boys right here. We'll just do our good deed and we'll just, push it. And she's like, okay. So they kind of run it down a hill and then they pop the clutch. That's the term I was looking for this whole time. They pop the clutch and like start the motor and they get it running again. So all the kids pile into this car. It's a nice little automobile. And Lem's driving the car and, you can't let the woman, drive. She was driving. She was steering it. And then now, hold on a second. The man's here. Now that this is a motor coach again and not just like a box on wheels. Hold on a second. Anyway. And as the car runs, they breeze right by Mr. Hastings, who has not made it into town yet. And they kick up dirt the way he did to them earlier in the hike. So it's all very fun. The car pulls over with something like 15 kids in the back. And we get a taste of Lem not being a pushover. He confronts Mr. Hastings. Mr. Hastings is kind of a jerk to him. And Lem is like, that's not going to fly, bro.
Thank you for almost running me down.
Well, we're just doing our good turn. We've got your motor going.
All right, out of there, all of you. This car wasn't built to hold every hoodlum in town.
Wow.
That's all right, Miss Downey. All right, you hoodlums, pile out of there. We've got a hike to finish. Come on.
Oh, we're gonna ride.
Mr. Hastings. From now on, I'm the only one who calls him that, right? Where's the captain? Oh, thanks. All right, now line up by twos. Oh, come on.
Let's go.
Frank, you get us started.
2, 3, 4, hop. 2, 3, 4, hop. Pick 'em up, put 'em down, pick 'em up, follow me.
That was unnecessarily rude, Ralph.
Get in the car, Vida.
They were just trying to help get the car.
Vida, will you please get in the car?
Mr. Siddons!
Vida!
Mr. Siddons!
Vida, come back here!
Well, Vida does not like the way Mr. Hastings is treating her or the way he's treating the boys or Lem because he kind of sucks. So she just starts following Lem and the boys on their hike in her nice skirt and her white shirt and her shoes that are not practical for hiking in any way. And before this scene, like when they're in the car, Lem asks her out on a date. And so she's like, I'm busy tonight with, homie. And then she just is like, you know what? Why? And I loved it. I think what it is she's looking for the caring side.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hastings doesn't have that. He clearly just doesn't care. Well, and he kind of is like a classic 80s kind of, romantic comedy bad guy where it's like, I'm the banker and I'm just worried. I'm focused on numbers.
Yeah, but
I don't need a family.
The thing also is like outside, because I think that in some ways, like certain women would be still attracted. Like if he was rich enough, she'd like overlook him being mean. But the guy doesn't have any vision, That's like one of the problems is he's not doing anything. He's just banking and doing nothing and being rude. It's like Lem also is not rude, but he also has vision. And so it's like where he doesn't have money, he has reliability, he has vision, and then he draws those hard boundaries. He knows who he is. And that's an attractive quality in anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And he can back it up, too, because he was in the army. So he knows how to fight. And it's just like, he goes, I'm the only one who calls them hoodlums.
Right? Oh, God, I love that.
Yeah.
Best
and he does
part.
it, just all it's got to say. You don't have to say anything else. I'm the only one who does that, right?
And he smiled the whole time, too.
Yep.
He wasn't even rude. He didn't even turn down his eyes or anything.
Later that night, Vida and Lem are walking back down Main Street or whatever after going to the movie. So they did their date anyway. It's the same night, right? And as they pass the general store that Lem works at, Hughes Mercantile, Lem notices a dog in the alleyway pointing at like an open door or whatever. He walks over and catches Whitey, the Kurt Russell character, who was the kind of town tough, I suppose.
Yeah.
He's on a ladder trying to steal stuff from inside the shop. Well, he gets spooked, falls down, and hurts his ankle. So Lem grabs the scouting manual, of course, from the newly installed scout section of the store that he works in, where it's almost like a pyramid scheme at that point. Let me sell my scouting wares to the kids that I get into the scouting business. But he bandages his ankle, and he's a nice guy, clearly, right? Like you see a kid robbing your store, the first thing you're not going to do is try to help the kid. But Lem is the cut of his jib is different. And Vida asks if he should have done that because he was stealing after all. And Lem says, I was just like that boy. He just needs a chance. Like, okay, man. Good job.
So, dude, like a hard background on Lem. Like,
yeah,
that's how you get into jazz playing. First, you're stealing licorice whips. Now you're playing saxophone.
Well, that really impressed Vida because she kind of walks up to him and he sees the opening, gives her a big old fat smoocherino.
Damn.
Later in the next scene, Lem and the boys are out in the field and they're doing like merit badge testing or whatever, Two guys are patching a canoe to get their canoeing badge, and two guys are cooking to try to get their cooking merit badge, and they're at the edge of the lake, and just that kind of general fun-loving scout stuff, But then Vida approaches in a little delivery truck from the general store. It's kind of wild that Mr. Hughes would just let her borrow the truck, but whatever. Yeah. Very nice, right? Lem goes over to her and like tries to give her a kiss, but she sort of backs away, and she goes, "Oh, I was invited here to see scouting in action, remember?" And he goes, "Oh, well, you can see Lem in action later." It's a very funny line that kind of just gets run over by Vida's next line delivery, but it's such a good line, dude. I loved it. I rewound it to make sure I heard exactly what I thought I heard, and I did.
Promotion.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. But anyway, she's there to drop off food for everybody, and it's very nice. Like she has like a literal pot of fried chicken and a cake, and she just is like,
I think she made 5 fried chickens. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. But Lem has other ideas because the boys are there to learn how to cook and be self-reliant, not eat homemade fried chicken. As he says, it's like when they're out in the wilderness, no one's going to bring them food. So this is what we're doing. And she's like, "Oh, it's fine. It'll be okay." Like she's just being motherly and being very kind. Right. And he's like, "But you don't understand. Like, this is not what we're here for." So we get to witness their very first argument, I think, as a couple. And it's very moving.
Dude stands on business. I love it.
I appreciate your interest in scout stomachs, but I think you'd better take the chicken back to the truck.
Is that an order?
No, it's just a suggestion.
In other words, you forbid me?
Well, no, I don't forbid you exactly.
Good.
No, wait a minute. All right, I forbid you.
Well, now you sound like Ralph Hastings.
Oh, no.
Anyone eat fried chicken? Hey, chicken!
Vida, what do you think you're doing?
I'm feeding hungry boys.
Well, that's exactly what you're not doing. Now, wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. Now, put that chicken back. I'm sorry, but no chicken. One of the reasons you're out here is to learn how to cook, and you have to eat what you cook. Now, you second-class candidates, get back to your fires. You pup tent guys, get back to your pup tents. Everybody get back to whatever you're doing. Now, go on. Hurry up.
That was a lovely exhibition.
Now, Vida, listen.
100% domineering. I forbid you. Let's keep them in their places. Male performance.
Male nothing.
You're all alike, every last one of you. Puffed up, lords of the universe, egotistical know-it-alls. And I thought you were different.
Different? Vida, all I did was ask you to get rid of the chicken.
No, you didn't. You said, "I forbid you."
What? Vida, where are you going? Vida, what are you going to do?
I'm obeying military orders. I'm getting rid of the chicken.
Oh, not in the lake. Vida.
Typical, egotistical male.
Oh, now, don't do that. Vida.
I forbid you, he says. Master of the universe.
No, not that. Not in the lake, Vida. No, Vida, don't do it.
Are you forbidding me again?
Well, no.
Good.
Vida, will you listen to me, please?
Will you kindly get out of my way?
No, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, she must have fried 5 whole chickens. Like so she takes them down, she throws all the pieces into the lake, and she's like chewing them out. And I don't know where I stand on this because like Lem is trying to teach them self-reliance, and he's trying to do this thing. She doesn't understand it, and she's taking offense to it. But I think the only reason he goes, I forbid you, is because she brought up the word to him, and she's like, "What, do you forbid me?" And then, he's like, "I guess I do. I don't know." And then she flips her shit. And it's like,
yeah, this is a very clear case. Is I do not have a sideline opinion. I know exactly how I stand on this. She came out invited, but not invited to bring food. She chose that on her own without understanding anything about what's going on. My man stood on business and said, "No, this is going to spoil what I'm teaching them. So unfortunately, I can't have you do this." And so then she framed this as being forbidden when he explained very clearly why they can't have the chicken. So then she tricked him into saying this because she was has a pre-program because he clearly ran through this. You're like Hastings. You're like all men. She clearly was pre-triggered about this. She made him say the thing that would trigger her so that she could then immediately turn around and quote him on it.
Yeah, she's definitely what's good about the scene is that like Lem is, he's not wavering at all because like you said, he's trying to teach them this thing. And to him, that makes a lot of sense. But she's definitely bringing her baggage. Mm-hmm. And it's just like any relationship, right? It's like everybody has baggage and either you help the person unpack it or you let it, ruin your relationship or whatever. Yeah. And Lem is very much the guy to help somebody unpack it, right? So he's like, "No, I don't understand." And it is a very good scene in that regard. It's very well written. And then the fire in Vida's eyes when she's like, "Well," I was like, "Oh man, this man is getting it." And then throw it in the lake is very funny too, because she could have just left. Yeah, she could have just left and come back, but no, she wanted to make a big scene in front of the kids, which is the earmarks of an incredibly healthy person. When you make food, you're explained rationally why they can't have it, and you could take the food to another organization or a group or hold it for later, and instead you throw it in the lake in a giant tantrum. Makes total sense. Good person. With this nice cake that says BSA on it from Boy Scouts of America. I'm like, oh. Yeah, definitely save it. Save it for tomorrow. Save it for later. But I don't know. It was very funny. It was very Disney conflict resolution or not escalation, I guess is what. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because you can't. The movie's going to suck if she just packs it all up and goes, "Oh, I understand."
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, right. Exactly right. We wouldn't be watching it if there was proper resolution.
Because then he chases her in a canoe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I like about this movie, and I'm realizing it now, is it feels like there's nothing wasted. There's no wasted gag or wasted setup in this movie. Everything is set up in advance of the scene. There's always a callback, but it's done really smartly, in a smartly way. Yeah. For example, the kids that were patching a hole in the canoe, right? One of them, this is before Vida shows up. One of them goes, "Oh, can we take out the canoe after we're done?" And the other guy's like, "No, you idiot. It has to dry, or else the seal won't hold and the thing will leak."
Yep.
So then after this argument, Vida I put this just because I was being funny, everybody, sorry, but in a blind female rage, she goes over to the canoe, right? So she could leave. Okay, we've established that she could leave, but instead of that, she dumps all the food in the lake. Then she goes over to the canoe, gets in the canoe and pushes it in the water just to get away from Lem. She doesn't want to leave. She just wants to have distance from him for purpose. I don't know why.
Totally rational.
Yeah, but then Lem jumps in after her because reasons. So they're both in this friggin' canoe. They paddle out to the middle of the lake and they're arguing, right? They're still arguing. They're going back and forth about it. And one of the boys on the shore goes, "You think the patch is dry yet?" And the other kid goes, "I don't think so." And the first kid goes, "Well, what should we do?" And the other kid goes, "Watch." And then, of course, the canoe springs a leak and it sinks. And this gives Lem and Vida a chance to cool off, and they start laughing, and it's a whole thing, and they make up. And the very next scene that we see in the movie is them leaving the chapel on their wedding day. So,
of course,
that's what I mean, man. Lem is just the unpacker. He's the bellboy. He's just like, let me help you with all this, because not every guy is domineering and weird. Just do what we say. And this is really what I don't know.
He's like, if I can handle 15 boys, I can handle one absolutely wildcatted woman.
A few scenes later, and the boys drag Lem out to the lake again to show him something that they've been working on, which is basically like a clubhouse for the troop, you know? But this thing looks like an amalgamation of every condemned shed that the country has ever seen since the 1800s up until the 1930s. It is atrocious. A loud fart next to it could blow this thing away. But the boys built it, and Lem is supportive. And some of the kids go off to this random junk pile to find 2x4s to put together for a door, because Lem's like, there's no door. Oh, that's right. He shows up and they're like, "We're not done. We don't have a door yet." And he's like, "I'll go find it." And, again, back to Lem's leadership. It's like, I would be like, what are you guys doing? This is dangerous, dude. No one's going to go in here. But he's like, sure, I'll do whatever you guys want. You did it. I should be supportive of that. And I don't know if I agree, but it's very nice. As they flip through all this junk, they run into Whitey again, who definitely has more than a little chip on his shoulder. One of the kids simply mentions that he saw his dad's van parked down by Artie's pool hall. And that, speaking of triggering, and that sets Whitey off and he starts a big fight. But Lem comes over to save everybody from jumping Whitey. And then he starts to kind of get into Whitey's head about what Whitey's plans are.
Twist his arm! Twist his arm!
All right, that's enough. Cut it out now. You fellas getting a little exercise?
Yeah, Lem. That's all.
Okay. Well, if you want me to be the first one through that front door, you better get it up, huh?
Yeah, okay. Come on, guys.
Whitey, this yours too?
You keep it. I swiped it off you anyways. I never hardly read it.
You didn't, huh?
It's just full of junk.
Okay, I'll keep it.
Come on, Dutch.
Whitey, what's the Scout law?
Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful friend. Oh, forget it.
Whitey, why don't you knock off this tough guy act? The boys all want you. All you have to do is come halfway.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You got guts enough to find out?
Got him with the Scout law, dude. He knew it. He knew it right away.
Look how folded that frickin' book is.
Yeah.
He never hardly read it. That would be crisp and clean.
Jeez.
What a bunch of bull crap.
One of the boys shows Lem the secret knock for him to be able to go through the door of the fort. And as he does, it's not even a fort. It's like a shed, basically. And as he does the knock, the whole thing just collapses around him, which is a pretty funny scene. Now, Whitey is standing there watching, and I don't know what he expects. Like, he kind of looks like he expects Lem to flip out like maybe his dad would have. But instead, Lem starts laughing. And so do all the other boys, which is always great to see children forcing laughter. They always look so natural doing it. Anyway, Lem issues a few jobs to clear up the junk pile and to try again. And he gestures over to Whitey and he goes, "Hey, why don't you work on that water pump?" And Whitey listens and he does it without really thinking about it. So in a way, Lem just absorbs Whitey into the troop and he doesn't make a big deal of it. And I think that is what we were talking about earlier. It's a nice way to go about handling someone who wants to be part of a group, but maybe is too prideful to ask for, reasons. And I think that Whitey's dad is the town drunk.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. So Lem would know it at this point too. And so the kid needs an outlet. And so instead of going like, look, I'm going to bring you in here, but you better toe the line, because Whitey's not going to react well to that.
Yeah.
Whitey's going to push away. But if you just don't make a big deal out of it, it's like now suddenly you're here. I don't know, man. That's the way you do it.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the thing though with Kurt Russell's acting in this whole movie, is this scene in particular. It's like he was such a good actor that he was just pissing me off. I was grinding my teeth at how obvious he was being with his tough guy act. Like, and it's just like, I was getting so angry because I'm like, you're not fooling anyone, right? Like no one believes, like you are a jerk and you pick fights, but like no one believes you're like, hey, this tough guy, I don't need nobody. Like you're so shitty at being a tough guy. And I thought it was cool, like cathartic, when like Lem finally just goes, hey, why don't you knock this crap off, right? None of us are buying it. You clearly want to be here.
Everyone wants you here. You want to be here. Let's just do it. Let's get it out of the way.
Stop being so weird. You're being so weird about it.
Yeah. So the next scene, we have Vida sewing on Whitey's rank, his badge on his uniform. So he's officially part of the troop, and some time has obviously passed since this, last incident. And he's really excited about it, which is cool. Like, so he's bought into the whole thing, and he's probably, calming down a little bit. But later, we get some sad news from Vida.
Lem, you shouldn't have done that. He doesn't want his father at that meeting.
Well, he could have come and told me, couldn't he?
No, he couldn't. He's crazy about his father. He's ashamed of him at the same time. Everyone knows Ed is a drunk.
Vi, what's wrong?
Well, you just can't expect a little boy to make a laughingstock out of someone he loves.
Honey, I'm not talking about Whitey. It's you. You've been taking things so hard these last few weeks. I guess that medicine Dr. Ferris gave you for your nerves isn't helping much, huh? Did you see him today?
Yes.
Well, what did he say?
It isn't my nerves. It never was. I just told you that. I lied too.
No?
He's been giving me a series of tests. I can't have any children. Now or ever.
Is he sure?
Tests were very thorough.
Sad stuff. She's very broken up about it, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's now parents' night at the clubhouse. So the troop actually did end up building a very sturdy place that humans can actually go in. And I don't know as a parent if I would allow my child to be involved in that. Like, we'll wait out here. We'll look at you through the window when this thing collapses. Thank you. Lem had mentioned in the other scene that he invited Whitey's dad, and Whitey is very embarrassed about his dad because his dad is the town drunk and also the plumber, and obviously the source of Whitey's anger issues. So Whitey lied to his dad and didn't tell him about the thing, and Lem was like, well, but your dad should be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what that was about. So they're in the middle of the room doing their demonstrations for the dads and stuff like that, like they're knot tying and whatever. And Whitey's dad comes into the room, like he barges in almost into the fort with these comically large, like takeaway boxes that look kind of like Chinese food boxes, but they're huge, right? Yeah. But apparently they have ice cream in them.
Yes.
He's like, I got ice cream for all the boys.
And it was weird at first, but it took me a second for my mind to align around that, because I have seen that in old movies before, the ice cream boxes that look like that. But yeah, for a second I was like, should you bring chow mein for everyone?
Which kind of would have been funnier, actually. I don't know why, but yeah, ice cream. And I don't know how far away this place is from the ice cream shop where he got what looks to be 5 gallons of ice cream. I mean, these things are probably a gallon each. They're massive.
Yeah.
So his dad, is obviously clearly a little sauced, and he comes in and he's like, I just brought ice cream for the boys. And he kind of makes his way to his chair, and the ice cream is dripping out of the sides. It's getting all over him, and it's like getting on other people. And anyway, Whitey's dad ends up falling down. He's getting melted ice cream everywhere.
Oh, just all over people.
Dude. Whitey's super embarrassed, so he helps him outside, and essentially he and Lem have an argument out there. Whitey was like, I told you not to invite him, and I knew that you would embarrass my dad because he would show up and make a fool of himself, which is surprisingly like sound logic, but very much like victim mentality. I don't want him there because I'm protecting him from making a fool of himself. It's interesting. And Lem is like, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I shouldn't have done it. You're right. And Whitey rips off his rank patch off his uniform and he throws it on the ground real hard. This is very funny. And I'm not going to say like I've lived that same experience, but kind of similar. And there is this weird protection that I think you can get in a situation like this, where you're protecting the person that is harming you from other people, but you're more protecting that part of you that's connected to that person. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. So it's done really well. And Whitey does a fantastic job acting out these bouts of unrelenting anger. It's really, really good. And if you've been around anybody or grew up with anybody who is a supreme alcoholic like this, but not like in a violent way, just in a sad, pathetic way, there is a thing in there that you're like, oh yeah, I can like relate to this. And it's spot on. Like, that's just kind of what, it's a distilled version, no pun intended, but anyway.
No, I totally can understand that. Like, we're from the 80s,
Yeah.
We have lots of family, I'm sure, that we can point to here or there that are or were in that position at that time. And so it is kind of easy to get into that where you can understand somebody being protective, but also embarrassed because they're like, I mean, you say, hey, this is my dad. This is the only one I got,
It's my
dad,
like,
as much as I don't like it, and I'm totally embarrassed of him. It's like, hey, that's still my dad. Come on.
Yeah.
I get it.
Then later that night, Whitey comes rushing over to Lem's house to use the phone because his dad is passed out and he fell down on the floor and he won't get up. After a touching scene, we find that Ed is dead. I guess he died of alcohol poisoning or whatever, but
yeah, he did.
What happens to Whitey? Does he go into the system to eventually emerge one day, honing his skills for hooliganism? Well, not if Lem and Vida have anything to say about that.
Why don't we decide right now? After all, we've got 16 kids already. The only difference is this one will sleep in.
Are you sure you really want him, Lem?
I'm sure. How about you?
I'm sure.
Okay, then it's all settled.
Will you tell him?
Yeah, I'll tell him. Hey, coffee for a kid his age?
Just for tonight.
Come have a bite to eat. I'm not hungry.
Whitey, there's something we'd like to talk to you about. How would you like to live here with us?
I don't want to be any charity case.
Whitey.
I ain't gonna live here and you can't make me.
Whitey, sit down.
You're just doing your Boy Scout duty. Well, I don't need that kind of stuff. I can earn my own living. I don't need you. I don't need anybody.
Whitey, now you sit down or I'm going to have to clout you one.
Oh, Lem, don't talk to him.
Why, I'll handle it.
Come on, Dutch.
Whitey, now you listen to me. We want you to live here with us. No duty, no Boy Scout stuff. We don't have a kid of our own and we want one. Sometimes you're no great shakes, but we both love you, Whitey. And we need you. And you need us. Can you get that through that thick head of yours?
We have a room for you, Whitey. Won't you come look at it?
It was very funny because, he's like, I don't need anybody. And Lem's like, come on, sit down. He's like, no. And Lem's like, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to clout you one if you don't calm down. It's like, okay, easy, calm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was a little weird, but it was really nice. So anyway, they're adopting Whitey, and I think that's nice for everybody. A few months later, we have Lem kicking back at the Boy Scout cabin, basically, just kind of chilling. And that shithead Mr. Hastings comes by. Turns out they mentioned this earlier, but the land is Mr. Hastings' aunt's land. Aunt Hetty.
Hetty's.
Right? Yeah. So he came to, I don't know what he came to do. I guess, just reinforce the fact that he might own the land one day, because he's talking about, this all could be developed. Imagine how much that would be if it was all developed. And Lem's like, yeah, but it's your aunt's land, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool, just checking. Anyway, he hears that Whitey is off leading a scout hike, and Mr. Hastings is like, oh, I hope he doesn't let you down. And Lem is like, oh, he just made patrol leader. He's a good kid, and that little amount of foreshadowing means that we're going to catch up with the boys on their hike, and they've gotten to a little spot of bother. Ronnie, one of the little towheads in the group, fell down a cliffside, as just, it happens, as boys are wanting to do, just fall down cliff sides. And he landed on a ledge or something like that while they were out hiking, while Whitey specifically was leading this hike. Well, the boys decided to try to rescue Ronnie instead of going to get help, and they rescued him by lowering Whitey down on a rope to the ledge. And it was a very harrowing little scene, involved Whitey actually slapping Ronnie to calm him down. So that should give you a call as to like when this was written, or just like, oh, if someone's excited, guess what? Hit him.
Yes, I love that. Hard. And I'm glad he did it, because it was such a great moment where I'm like, yeah, he's being hysterical. Slap him.
That's right. But Whitey was the hero. They pulled everybody back up, and everybody was safe and sound, and everything is fine, and no one got truly very hurt, and no one died, more importantly. But apparently this set the whole town gossiping, as we hear Mr. Hastings talking to his aunt at the bank.
I hope that Ronnie feels better today. Goodbye. Good morning, Aunt Hetty. That was Mrs. Larson. Suppose you've heard about Ronnie.
Of course I've heard. The whole thing's a disgrace. The boy wasn't hurt. He was just frightened.
Aunt Hetty, everyone can hear you.
Well, let them. It's outrageous the way this town is gossiping. I don't want to sit down. Aren't you taking me to lunch?
Yes, of course, Aunt Hetty. But, I would hardly call it gossip. Lem did give the patrol to a boy whose record as a delinquent.
Well, if it hadn't been for that delinquent keeping his head in an emergency and risking his own life, there might have been real trouble.
Yes, Aunt Hetty. Where would you like to have lunch?
I've decided to eat alone.
Aunt Hetty.
Gossip. That's all anyone ever does. Gossip.
And I love that for Mr. Hastings, because he's still, so I don't know how long it's been since Lem and Vida were married, but it's had to have been a couple years. And he's still like, well, Lem did do this bad thing. Do you have kids in the troop? Then shut up.
Yeah.
Then don't worry about it, dude. You little rat, you little worm.
Yeah.
Little worm-faced rat.
And he is the classic person that, like, after multiple bad things happen to him, he doesn't stop and examine himself and be like, hey, I lost the girl in town even though I got money. My own aunt hates me. You know, like maybe I keep losing because I'm being a loser.
Yeah, that's right. I'm tired of winning.
Yeah.
Usually rich old people in movies like this kind of suck, but I like Aunt Hetty. She kind of rocks, dude.
She's
like, everyone sucks. You guys all shut up.
Kind of bohemian.
Yeah. Anyway, as a result of the in-town yapping and the people talking about things they don't know about, Whitey decides to run away. But Lem refuses to listen to the town speak on things they don't understand. So while Whitey's upstairs running away in secret, like he's packing his stuff, Lem resigns as the scout leader because I guess he thinks that'll quiet the rumbling, since it was his choice to promote Whitey. Like, this whole thing is bigger than a political scandal.
I know. That's what I think is so funny, is what is going on in Hickory. Like, these less than 5,000 people don't have shit going on.
It's like, oh man, did they change a brand of licorice whips? And the whole town burns down. He goes upstairs to tell Whitey this, like, everything will be fine. I quit. It'll be great. But he discovers that Whitey is gone. And then later on, he goes out looking for him, basically. And he runs into Whitey at the scout fort, or, whatever it is. And they have a lovely little convo.
You want to know something? This is just the same kind of bullheaded stunt I used to pull when I was a kid. Take off, run away. Thought that'd solve everything. I can tell you it never does, Whitey. You've got responsibilities. You've got a couple of people who need you very much. This whole thing will blow over. I gave them my resignation. That's all the town wants, really.
You can't quit, Lem.
Why not?
Well, because like you said, it wouldn't solve anything.
Well, now, just a second. It's different with me.
How?
Well, it's just different, that's all.
Lem, if I got responsibilities, believe me, you got worse. All the guys depend on you.
Well, look, who's lecturing who around here?
Lem, you can't quit. There wouldn't even be a scout troop without you.
Whitey.
You just can't quit, that's all.
Now, just take it easy, huh?
Please, Lem. Please.
It's funny because it's the second time that Lem has said, we need you, Whitey, not we want you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not questioning anything, about like Lem's, things, but it's like, because he and Vida can't have a kid, then they want to have a kid, and, so they adopt Whitey. But it was, I don't know, that line always sticks with me every time he says it, every time I hear it. It's like,
yeah,
we need you.
Well, it's interesting because people like the idea of being needed, but it feels like a lot of pressure to put on a child for an adult. We need you. We need you here.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it is. It almost feels like a guilt trip.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not suggesting that Lem is doing that. But it feels that way.
Yeah, where want is you have a choice to make, but you are wanted here. I want you to know that.
Yeah,
you can still leave.
Like you belong here.
Yes, but if you're needed, it's we need you.
Yeah,
you literally have no choice. We need you.
Right. Yeah. Well, after that speech, Lem withdraws his resignation, and there's an impromptu parent night meeting, which everyone loves. As parents, we all love just the random stuff to do when we didn't have anything planned or want anything to do in the first place. But that was the honking. Maybe you heard in the background, like all the parents arrived to like, I don't know, support Lem. I don't know what was going on, but he's like, well, I guess let's have a meeting. And I'm like, man, if this was me, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I left the microwave on, man. I gotta go.
The wheel's about to be on. I gotta.
Yeah, dude, I'm not doing this. Wings. I need to watch the latest episode of Wings.
What's Lowell up to?
Yeah. The truth is, needless to say, fairly cemented in the community. So now everybody knows Whitey was a hero. Everything's fine, whatever. We get a little brief montage and we fast forward 11 years or 12 years, maybe it is. I don't know. I couldn't keep track through the tears in my eyes. Everything was really like lovely. I don't know. I always have this, speaking of unpacking business, I always, when I watch movies and stuff like this, it's always, I always like get emotional when I see characters getting like recognition, like sweet recognition for stuff. I don't know. That's just me. That's part of my twisted Joker-like personality. But it was this whole thing of like everyone loving him. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I love this for this man. All the scouts are on a camping trip, and everyone has a little pup tent, and it looks very like Norman Rockwell-esque at this point. They're all kind of all in a semicircle. There's a tent pole with a flag at it. It's a whole thing, man. We have a new batch of boys because, eventually you age out of Boy Scouts. I think there might be some younger kids still in there, but it's hard to say because they all look the same to me. We learned that Whitey has enlisted in the military as a medical officer or whatever, so that's cool for him. He's doing his thing, man. Suddenly, a military transport rolls through the woods, and we get what's probably going to be the next bit of conflict in our remaining 40 minutes of this movie. The military is hosting war games in the area. The next morning, Lem is shaving kind of a little bit away from the scout camp because I guess you don't want to wake anybody, shaving. And he gets captured by these two doofuses, these utter dorks. And despite his best effort, they're soldiers, right?
Yeah.
And despite his best effort, they don't believe that he's just a scoutmaster. So, they have like rifles and they're in their, green army fatigues. They take him back to camp and they hang a little sign around his neck that says POW, which is like, Lem goes, even if you guys are out playing war games, which is what it seems like, I'm a scoutmaster. I don't know what you're doing or why you're taking me. And they're like, oh, well, you're coming with us anyway, because that's just like what a spy would say. You're spying at the war games.
Yeah. This is the only part of the movie that like it kind of took it out of it for me for a few minutes, because up until this point, everyone in the town had been like forgiving and nice and generally courteous and like the idyllic idea of how you want people to be.
Yeah.
And then when the war games came to this town, it was how people actually are. And
Yeah,
it started really pissing me off because like these guys weren't just dumb. They were ignorant and loud and getting in the middle of this stuff that was in harmony.
Yeah. Well, look, man, war is hell, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I could reconcile with it is that like they're not from Hickory, right? So they're not locals. They don't know. They're not trying to interact with anybody. But so Hickory is like this little Twilight Zone, bauble that is just hidden away in the fluid of nicety. But
totally. Yeah. It's Bedford Falls.
Yeah. But they have like guns and bayonets and stuff like that. And then I'm like, if you think they're playing war games, Lem, just leave, dude. They're not going to stab you. They're not going to shoot you. Just go away. Like you would rather leave like 8 to 10 preteen boys alone in the woods somewhere because you're afraid to get yelled at by some 20-year-old idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Well, and again, that's not only did they bring in characters that I didn't like and but it's like the tone of the movie was kind of different. The movie became kind of different. It became like this weird, like F Troop episode. Yeah. Like it just, the whole thing was just, cause Lem is like, well, guys, I got to get out of here. What's going on? You know, it's like up until that point, he had sort of been in charge or he'd been the one like leading everything. And now he's in this weird, like passive position where he's just like, what guys, I got to go. I got kids out there. Come on. This is silly.
You like, guys are being goofy.
What is happening right now?
Well, back at the scout camp, one of the guys who's in charge of Reveille, he fires his little cannon. He has a little cannon to mark Reveille. Yeah. At 6 a.m. That's when they're waking up. And that inadvertently sets off a chain reaction where all of these absolute spoon brains start firing, I guess, at one another, but they're all like launching fake artillery, but it's like where?
Yeah.
Like, what's your recon like? Like you're just like, oh my God, a war game. Okay, well, we heard a blast, so we're just inadvertently gonna just shoot this big giant mortar off and just see where it lands, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, just start the shooting.
Yeah, it was very funny, dude. And it was like intercut with obviously some war footage and stuff, but it was just weird. So the whole thing was weird. Anyway, the boys scramble off into the woods because the whole thing scares. And things aren't calming down. There's a group of these absolute losers running through the woods, firing their machine guns at literally nothing, just like into the bushes. Mm-hmm. And then they keep on running. You know, it's just they run, they stop, they go, and then they run again. But there's some cool effects and there's some pretty neat plot devices in here, but it's not worth going into. Basically, the scouts are trying to dodge all of the little groups of military men that they run into. So they're trying to like sneak through dry creek beds and stuff like that. And at one point, an airplane flies overhead and drops these like exploding like flour bombs or chalk bombs or whatever.
It's these big bags of like, what looks like chalk. It's wild.
It looks so cool, dude. And so, you know, the kids are laying on the ground like, oh my God, incoming. And then they lay on the ground and cover their head. And they're just getting absolutely showered with like chalk dust or whatever. It's pretty neat. Like it does look pretty cool. And it must have been one hell of a shooting experience to be one of these kids and just having these like explosive chalk bags, you know, being set off around you.
It's like that would have annihilated a kid though if it hit them. Like that's the problem. Would have broke their spine.
Just telescopic kids, dude.
Yeah.
No way. Anyway, needless to say, the kids end up surviving the war games and rescuing Lem. And it's a neat scene, and it feels like the end of the film, but there's still like 40 minutes left to go. And that's probably the point to your complaint about Lem is now on the back foot. And it's like it's probably just to show how good Lem is at leading them, that they were able to rescue him, you know, but also maybe not. I don't know. It was weird.
It's I like the end of it. It felt almost more like Bad News Bears, Goonies,
absolutely.
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because that scene right dead center in this movie is like what the poster was about.
Yeah.
Like the main production poster that came out when you suggested watching this movie, it's got the capture the tank scene. And that made me wonder, like, what the hell is this movie about? Like, what is going on?
We still don't know. The boys arrive back at their main scout headquarters and they find a notice nailed to the door of the cabin. And that says the property is closed due to order of the county court. And of course, Hetty rolls up and kind of gives Lem the lowdown on what's going on. Basically, Ralph Hastings, the nephew, you remember, is trying to take over all of her finances and become the executor of her estate, citing the fact that she gave that land that the scout house is on and the lake to the scout troop instead of selling it to be developed.
Yeah.
So here we get to see Lem's law skills in action. If you remember from the beginning, he was like, all I do is read these law books and blow this saxophone, baby.
Wait a minute, so, but why are they going to court again?
Because she's like, I don't know what to do, Lem. And he's like, fight it.
Because he's suing Hetty. I can't remember. So Hastings is suing Hetty for the land because he thinks she's batty.
Yeah, he's like suing her for the land, but I think more importantly, he wants to have an executor be granted to her estate, and she loses control of her money.
Okay,
so I think it's larger than that, larger than just that land. But that's the big part. He's trying
to get all of it because she's doing nice things and he wants to do bad things.
That's right. He just wants to make money. He's like, this could be worth $500,000, and Hetty's like, I don't care, dude. Let kids get rust infection and get lockjaw,
because that's what the OGs are all about. That's what the real ones want.
That's right. So Lem goes to court and he helps Aunt Hetty, and he successfully beats the case, and the lake stays in the hands of the Boy Scouts. So yeah, it's a whole it's a whole thing. A couple of brief scenes pass showing us that Whitey is doing fine in the military, that the war has just ended. And so you hear a little, radio broadcast of that, which was kind of cool. And Whitey comes home with his new wife, Nora. Happy feelings all around. Then the year turns 1950. Lem is leading the current scout troop to the lake to build a permanent scout headquarters there. And it looks really great.
Yeah.
Like a stone foundation, tall wall, cool stuff, man. I don't know how these people know how to do this, but I guess it was a different time. As Lem is hammering in some new wood for the dock, Frankie brings him some bad news. Mr. Hughes has passed away. Someone called Leo is reading Mr. Hughes' will to Vida and Lem, who have really kind of started to look their age finally, you know? And says that the store is now theirs to run. But as Lem stands up to leave, he feels tired and he pauses a bit. Vida takes him home and calls Whitey, who of course is now a doctor and lives in town, to come and check him out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nora, what does it say?
It says you're an impossible patient.
It's a secret or something? What does it say?
You wouldn't understand it. It's in code. Medical, not Morse.
Well, why don't you say it, Whitey? It's a heart, huh? Is it bad? Whitey, answer me. Is it bad?
Lem, I'd say your heart will last as long as you live.
Well, that's not very funny.
Well, it wasn't meant to be funny. You're not as young as you were.
Well, that's a great medical observation.
Lem, these are supposed to be the cautious years. If you don't stop overdoing it, the next time might be real trouble.
All right, first chance I get, I'll... Vi, what is that?
Milk toast.
All right, Whitey, I'll make a deal with you. I'll try to slow down. But I'm not going to eat milk toast yet.
Slowing down isn't good enough. You need a complete rest.
Whitey, how can I rest now? Who's going to finish building the camp out at the lake?
Lem.
Who's going to get the free lumber, and who's going to get the free labor?
Lem.
Will you both stop lemming me? Who's going to see that everything's ready for dedication day? Who's going to coordinate all the activities, and who's going
Lem, the troop committee will handle all that.
Oh, the troop committee. They'll gum everything up. No, I've got to get out there and take charge.
You're going to stay right where you are.
Lem, you're missing the point. You're through taking charge.
Says you.
No, Lem. Says the troop committee.
The troop committee?
Lem,
now,
please.
What?
Be quiet and listen to him.
We all knew how you were pushing yourself with those pep pills and those patent medicines. You'd never quit on your own, so we had to make the decision.
Whitey, what are you trying to say?
Lem, I've already said it.
Damn. Kicked out. Kicked out of the group, dude.
Kicked out of the group you created. God damn.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's got to be great. But for his own good. And the scene goes on and on and on. But basically, they're like, it's for your own good because you need a rest. And we know you're not going to rest if you're still in charge, clearly. So And then he's like, we voted on it a month ago, but no one like could tell you. Everyone's like afraid, or no one has a heart. That's even worse,
Right?
dude.
Oh, I know you've been out for a month and you didn't even know it. You have a dead man walking. Now, one thing I want to point out just before we go on, because he's got gray hair here, right? And he's like, my heart doesn't work no more.
Yeah.
You know, it's only been 20 years since 1930.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of wondering at the beginning, like, how old is this guy? Because he's like, the years are stacking up. I got nothing to show for it. Well, so in 1930, he was sweeping a floor. And now 20 years later, he's nearly dead. So I don't know what the average, old man need to retire, drink, eat milk toast is for 1950. But I guess he was probably in his 40s, right? Sweeping that floor, thinking he was going to have children. This guy.
Yay, man. If what's his name? If Al Pacino can be a dad at 84, Lem can be a father at, 42 or whatever it was, right? So anyway, the dedication day for the new scout camp at the lake rolls around. And, Lem is leaving his house and he's all hacked off about being old, complaining that the scout committee probably didn't even invite the old troop guys or anybody like that to this event. And, he climbs into Whitey's car and Whitey's driving. He's like, yeah, well, we mailed everybody. And he's like, well, you must not have done it right, because if they were in town, they would have already said something. And he's wondering where everybody is. And as he gets into Whitey's car and they start driving away, the whole town, complete with a marching band, pours out of the woodwork. Basically, it's like a surprise parade. Yeah. It's like they drive around the corner and you see these just lines of people coming from between the houses and stuff. And they're playing songs. And adding to the excitement of Dedication Day, the town is pronouncing it Lem Siddons Day as well. Now, Lem is understandably overcome with gratitude, and it was very sweet. They even had all the OG scouts there in a truck with a banner that said they were here first.
Yep.
It's kind of cute.
Cool.
Lots of town folks had signs and stuff, but one kind of felt too pointed given that last clip I played. It read, "We're high on Lem." Damn. I mean, why are you talking about pet pills and patent medicines? And we'll get to that. Matt has a whole thing on that. So I saw that. I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. Hoodoo from the original troop grew up to be governor, which is kind of cool. And he gives a speech at the scout camp dedication.
May I have your attention? Can you hear me back there?
Loud and clear, Governor! Now, Lem is going to cut the tape, friends. We'll march across the bridge, inspect the camp, and have the dedication ceremonies. But before all of that, there's one ceremony that's been waiting 20 years. And it can't wait any longer. You remember when we were kids, we used to get a kick out of that big book that Lem used to lug around. The one with the funny title. Jurisprudentia Legis.
Did you ever finish it, Lem?
We'd ask him what it was for, and Lem would say, that's so I can be a lawyer someday. Well, because of all the time that Lem gave to all of us. That someday had to be postponed, indefinitely. But not forever. And now, by the authority vested in me through the state regents and the university, I hereby confer on you, Lemuel Siddons, the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws.
Okay, Counselor, you're on. There's so many things I'd like to say, but it's a little hard to talk right now. All I can say is thank you for everything. I want to thank you, Hoodoo, and Whitey, and Kwong, and Beefy, and Frankie, and Mickey. All the guys down through the years. And I want to thank my wife. All of you who've made my life the happiest life a man could have. And Mrs. Siebert, a very special thanks to you for making all this possible. I guess that's all.
This is a nice thing to say, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
That gets me a little bit. I like it. Oh. And the camp is called Camp Siddons. At least I think that's what it says. For some reason, my vision is a little blurry. I don't know why.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and then so Lem gets these giant scissors, and he cuts the ribbon, and then we have a little bit of a song here, and then the movie ends. But here's the last little bit.
Well, what do I say now?
What you always say, dear.
All right, guys. Now, let's shape it up in there. Fall in and follow me, boys.
Follow me, boys, follow me. When you think you're really beat, that's the time to lift your feet and follow me, boys, follow me. Pick 'em up, put 'em down and follow me. Pick 'em up.
And all the men and the boys and everybody in town marches across the bridge singing "Follow Me, Boys," and the movie is now over.
Oh, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. It's that blurry vision again. I can't figure it out. Anyway, folks, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and, of course, listen to Matt talk about all the cool stuff he dug up about this movie and get to learn a little bit more about what it's like to be a scoutmaster.
Yeah.
According to Lem Siddons. So hang on, everyone. It's the Buena Vista Boys. We'll be right back.
My fault. I wanted to go on a picnic, and the car doesn't like picnics.
Oh.
Mr. Hastings just went to get a tow truck.
Well, I could try to fix it for you, but I'd gum it up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm all thumbs.
I've never met a man who admitted he couldn't fix an automobile.
Thanks for hanging on, everybody. We are back to talk about Follow Me, Boys. All the kind of, little facts and figures and stuff like that you wanted to know about this Fred McMurray classic, but we're afraid to research on your own. You don't want to end up on a list or anything. Matt, what do you got for us, pal?
Oh, man. It is my extreme pleasure to bring this to you. Let's start off with a terrible hackneyed joke. This whole thing is entitled, "I've had my fill of hot sacks. Let me hang out with the boys."
All right, there you go.
That's what writing stuff at 2:00 in the morning gets you. Follow Me, Boys marched into theaters December 1st, 1966, just 2 weeks before Walt Disney passed away. And the film earned $5,355,000 in North American rentals, the cut of ticket sales sent to the studio in 1967.
That's a banger of a box office.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I find interesting because I don't know what it was like to be in 1966, but it's like for a movie like this to garner that much attention, that many butts in seats, that's fascinating to me because it's not offering like things that are angsty and, heavy drama or even like action. It's just an even keeled story of an everyman.
I think here's my theory on a lot of that stuff, like why we got so many B movies in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, is that there wasn't enough content to be picky.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way now I feel with Disney movies, where you have the worst schlock out there, or like, remakes of remakes of remakes. Here's a live action Moana that we just saw the original 10 years ago, and now we get that. It's going to make money. Is it going to be good? No.
Yeah.
But it's going to make money. Right. And so that's the kind of thing, because people are going to see it. They want to see the next Disney thing because they know it's safe. So they see this like, oh, Fred McMurray, he's good. Boy Scouts, that's cool. I think that was really popular in the 60s. So like,
yeah,
they just went and saw it. I looked it up. $5 million in 1967 is about $49 million today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you can imagine against the budget of what? Like they already owned the studio they made it on. They probably rented the ranch, that they used for the backdrop of Hetty's place. Like, I mean, they're printing money on this, to be honest.
You're keying in on that's why studios built their backlots, You don't got to outsource that kind of stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. But not all of us apparently enjoyed this film because Bosley Crowther.
That's a good name.
I know.
That's such a good name. It's a villain too.
Yes.
Bosley Crowther.
Oh, he's going to skewer this one. And he's of the New York Times, of course.
Yeah.
Panned the film as such a clutter of sentimental blubberings about the brotherhood of the Boy Scouts and indiscriminate ladling of cornball folksy comedy that it taxes the loyalty and patience of even a one-time ardent member of the Beaver Patrol. What is most painful and embarrassing is the picture this film gives of the American small town as a haven for television type comedians having themselves a fine time with a routine of rancid cliches.
I mean, ow, get some ointment for the burns, dude.
God.
I didn't really see a bunch of like cliches. I mean, I guess maybe like, I don't know. If anything, if it felt like, Fred McMurray was like the conquering white man in the village where nobody has, introduced the concept of deodorant to or something like that, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm here to, he took over the town basically,
Well, this just feels like Bosley needs a hug from his dad. Like, this is a classic, like, who hurt you, bro?
Yeah, man.
But I just like, holy shit. Like, what did you expect this to be? Like, you saw the trailer. Like, this isn't Shakespeare in the Park, my man.
Yeah.
Like, this is the same group of people who made like the Absent-Minded Professor, right? Like, they made a movie about a man who turns into a dog also with Fred McMurray.
You're right.
Come on. Like, I couldn't believe just how he tore into this film. And Clifford Terry of the Chicago Tribune wrote, admittedly, there probably are enough chuckles and sniffles to satisfy the most rabid Disney devotee. But stretched out for more than 2 hours, the film seems almost as long as the 20 years it covers.
Which is accurate. There's nothing about that statement that is inaccurate.
No, he ain't lying.
No.
But that's what we had said that right at the beginning. That's so
one
funny.
thing Clifford Terry ain't doing is lying, man.
But the film ran 131 minutes originally. In 1976, the film was re-released to theaters in a heavily shortened version, running 107 minutes, which
that's
significant.
Fair. I wonder what they cut.
Yeah, I would love to find out.
Because I always like to think, every movie show I watch, it's like I always like to figure out, if I had to re-edit this, what would I cut out?
Yeah. Well, because I can think of a couple of spots.
Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, that's a lot. That's a big chunk. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. It'd be interesting to see that version.
Yeah. I wonder if they cut out, and we won't go off on this, but it's like, I wonder if they cut out the whole piece with like Whitey saving the kid and then Lem even like pretending to quit. Because you don't need that. That was a great little character bit, but if you remove that chunk, the movie goes on just perfectly fine on its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then when the film first came to video in the United States in 1984, it ran 120 minutes. And in the 2004 DVD release, that is the complete 131-minute original theatrical cut. Took how many years to get us the full thing again? All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The title song, Follow Me Boys, was written by Walt Disney's musical darlings, the perfect piano plinking pair of Robert and Richard Sherman.
You know what? Of course. I'm going to interrupt you real fast. Because I used to watch this movie. My dad taped it on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s, right? I wonder if that's why it seemed so much shorter in my mind, because I think it was probably the 120-minute version. It could have even been the 107-minute. I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't remember so much of this movie, because it was probably gone from the movie. I wonder if I can find that tape and figure out how to hold it up to the light, I think, and then you can look at it. I think that's how it works. I don't I'm just putting it together now. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'm not losing my mind, but maybe we're just watching weird cuts.
Well, yeah, because that's like, I mean, I think the 120 makes sense because it's a straight 2 hour. Well, no, actually the 107 makes sense because you know you're going to put in commercials.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that actually makes a lot more sense to run that.
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off on the Robert and Richard Sherman.
No, I think that's fine.
Song.
But you know, our boys wrote that song like that.
It's just too good.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds exactly like any of the other pieces they would play in the park. I mean,
they knew what they were doing.
in a good way. These guys were able to maximize their time.
Yeah.
By putting out a banger and just not overthinking it.
Yeah.
This movie was directed by Norman Tokar. Such a very interesting name.
Mm-hmm.
He is known by BVB heads as the only man that can effortlessly direct both dogs and tigers, helming The Ugly Dachshund and A Tiger Walk, and directed Kurt Russell again right after this movie in The Horse in the Gray Flannel Suit.
Oh, I love it.
Have you seen that? Because I feel like that needs to really go on our list now.
Okay. I'm all right with it.
He was suited to direct a boy-heavy film like this, perfecting his directing talent and no doubt his patience during the directing of Leave It to Beaver. He directed 93 episodes over 3 years. He's also directing an upcoming Buena Vista Boys season 3 film that I'm excited to watch. No spoilers, kids. Sorry.
Oh, damn.
I know. But yeah, there's actually, I mean, he's an old BVB guy.
Nice.
We like all the movies he does.
We do.
So as we talked about at the beginning of the movie, Kurt Russell playing Whitey. This is not his first movie, but it's his second, I believe. But this is where his life picks up. He signed a 10-year contract with Disney and made 8 films with them through 1975. From 1980 onward, he would return for various Disney projects, including Fox and the Hound, Captain Ron, Sky High, and his portrayal of Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
He did so good in that, dude.
Yeah. No, so he stayed on board. But yeah, his official, there's that Kurt Russell run that we all know. And he actually hosted this great thing that I watch it all the time. And it's him and the Osmond brothers. And they go to Disneyland. Yeah. And the whole back end is it's this weird story. The Osmond brothers are coming to perform at Disneyland, and it's a giant commercial for Disneyland, clearly. And whole back end of it is a huge commercial for the Haunted Mansion. This is about 1969 is when this came out. And it's just Kurt Russell, and he's sort of playing this host. He's talking to the camera. And dude, I just watch this every so often just for fun because they cover so much of 69 Disneyland. So you got you've got old Tomorrowland, right? That great time between 67 and 69 Tomorrowland, where it's just teeming with the People Mover and the spinning rockets and the submarines and everything. It's got that, and they still have the gondolas going through. They ride them like the Osmond brothers ride those, and it's it's the perfect amount of nostalgia because they film it all really well and they cover everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. There was a taped introduction that I watched the other night of Walt Disney, and it's an introduction for Follow Me Boys, which was the last known footage of Walt Disney a few weeks before he died of acute circulatory collapse. And he introduced the audience to the 15-year-old boy, and he says this. He goes, "For whom I predict a great acting future, his name is Kurt Russell."
You wasn't wrong. He wasn't lying either, man.
That was one of the... And in fact, what I found out, I don't take this with a grain of salt. Kurt was one of the last words he ever wrote on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I've heard this before. We covered it years and years ago on the main
show. Is that
show.
True?
And it was like on a scrap of paper on his desk.
Yeah.
It was Kurt Russell or something like that.
Yeah.
And, it was like, you're like, oh, what does that mean or whatever? But then you look at like, well, he just signed a contract. this movie was kicking off or was about to be released. And, it makes sense for him to be like, maybe he's making a list of kids he wants in the next movie or something like that.
Sure.
Who knows? Yeah.
What's interesting is watching that little piece of footage. He usually had so much poise. Like when they would put him on, he would come on and he'd be like, hey, all right, I'm Walt Disney. We got a lot of things to talk about. And this one, he acknowledged that he couldn't be there in person. He had some other things he needed to do. And it's like,
yeah,
there was something like with very avid, like Disney fans, when you watch a lot of his footage, there was something off. It wasn't noticeable and they didn't make a big deal of it, but he was a little out of step compared to all of his other, pieces of video.
No, he was such a unique talent in that way, and just the presentation and stuff like that. He was so natural that, if you're having to fight through something like cancer, it's going to take it out of you no matter how good you are,
Yeah, no, it was he did his best, but it was perceptible, just like a tiny bit.
Yeah, I bet.
All right. Well, that was nice.
Yeah.
All right. Vera Miles, who played Vida. Vida? It was Vida.
Vida.
That's what I'd say. That's kind of an older lady's name, Vida.
Yeah.
But Vera Miles has been all over the place, most notably playing Lila Crane in the 1960s Psycho and Psycho 2 in 1983. Came back.
So I guess, spoiler alert, she didn't die.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Because she was the sister at the end, I believe.
I can't remember. I know I've seen Psycho,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you who these people were.
I think she was the sister who's coming to look for the other sister who died early on in the film.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And in 1964, Vera played the role of Dorothy Williams in the classic A Tiger Walks.
See?
And then also in 1960, she played Millicent Barnes in season 1, episode 21 of The Twilight Zone, Mirror Image. And I'm going to say that honestly, you could skip this one. As nice as she is, this episode is about a woman who's in a bus station. And every time she goes to do something, a person tells her, hey, you were just here. And she's like, I was? And then they're like, yeah, you just came out of the bathroom a minute ago. And the point is there's some sort of like doppelganger that is doing everything a step before her. And
that's cool. That sounds good.
It sounds good, but it's executed in such a way where you're like, what's happening? How did a doppelganger occur? Why is it here? I don't know. It's
because reasons. Come on, dude.
It's just, I don't know. It's
Okay.
It's no, will the real Martian please stand up?
Of course not. No. It never will be.
Right. In addition to these great hits, Vera was also in many classic TV shows, from Mannix to Murder, She Wrote to The Streets of San Francisco. And
she was working, man. Working the TV.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys from the 60s did. A lot of people had great runs. Going from silver screen to television back and forth. Our lady who played Aunt Hetty, Lillian Gish, she got started in acting at the age of 6 when her mom and her tried their hand at acting in the local theater company to make ends meet. Her father, an alcoholic, had abandoned the family and left them to fend for themselves. And great.
Imagine. Okay. Yeah, they were fine. It sounds great. He did him a favor. Hey. I read up a little bit about her because I'm like, I wonder what happened. Like her dad ended up in like a sanitarium, and like it didn't end well for him. And I'm like, I love that for him. What a good guy.
Yeah. It's because he drove himself wild with drink.
Probably. Yeah, absolutely.
He was absolutely sputtering wild. Anyway, good things happened to them because in 1912, Lillian was in no less than 12 short films, 17 shorts the following year, 14 the year after that, and on into the talkies. She had a role in Birth of a Nation, that white nationalist classic. We all have that on VHS, I'm sure.
Sure, dude. Yeah. And it's like, that's the thing is Birth of a Nation is just like not an awesome movie, culturally, but technically and within film history, it's a giant, like it is a juggernaut.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's kind of hard to talk about because it's like, it was a rousing success.
Yeah, it's like talking about like Riefenstahl movies, where like,
Yeah.
she was Hitler's girlfriend, but man, she knew how to push a dolly through some javelin action. So what are you gonna? Yeah,
How do you separate the art from the politics?
Yeah.
Gish was dubbed the First Lady of the Screen by Vanity Fair in 1927 and is credited with pioneering fundamental film performance techniques. And in 1999, the American Film Institute ranked Gish as the 17th greatest female movie star of classic Hollywood cinema. Now, I did not know any of these things, and good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's rad.
Yeah, and I thought she was a fine actress in this, and clearly has a pedigree. I like that she came from nothing, right? She came from humble means. She didn't go to Juilliard.
No, man, she just did it. She lived it, baby. That's right.
Luana Patton, who played Whitey's wife when he came home from the war, is someone who we've seen as a child actress. She played Ginny, one of two wealthy white children who became fascinated by stories of a certain Uncle Remus in the Song of the South in 1946.
That's wild.
I know, which I also have not seen. I have not watched Song of the South, not for any personal reasons. It's just, I guess it's not, if I have extra time, watching Song of the South is not on my list of things to do.
You should do it just as a cultural experiment, because that movie, and I'm not, there's no hyperbolic chambers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It is a terrible film.
Technically awful. Outside of its
literally
content.
terrible. No, it is unwatchable. The best part of the movie is the cartoons.
Okay.
The part with Uncle Remus does a great job. Hetty, I forget her name. The nanny or whatever, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
She does amazing. The kids are fine, I guess. So the live action stuff is fine. Whoever plays Uncle Remus, great job. Fantastic. But as a thing to watch, atrocious.
Okay.
Awful. Just not even, and racial things like about it aside, like it's considered bad because it's like, oh, slavery. These people are slaves, right? And these white children are like, oh, let's go talk to the slaves and whatever. And that's not great. Obviously, I'm not saying it is. But that's kind of the only thing that's going on. There's no other like undertones of like, I need to punish these people or whatever. There's no, you know what I mean? So
it's the framing. It's just the framing of it.
But it's just a bad movie. Written terribly. It's not good, but you should watch it once.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I can say.
That glowing review, I'll call it up this evening.
It's the most boring. Understand. Anyway.
No, I could see that. But I will certainly get around to it. But I wasn't avoiding it for political reasons. Oh,
of course not.
I can't take this content. I don't much mind that. It's a thing that exists, and it is a piece of historical entertainment. But yeah, I just don't think about it very often. I like Splash Mountain though.
Yeah, see, there you go.
We all do. Donald May, who played adult Whitey, starred in many TV shows and movies, but none more important than playing the role of Captain Anderson in A Tiger Walks.
Hey.
This is just a Tiger Walks reunion, really. Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
This whole film is based off a 1954 book called God and My Country, which doesn't sound very interesting or even clear on what the book involves. But
it really doesn't, to be honest.
No, I could assume that it probably has something to do with a patriotic thing. Right. Either war or being a good citizen. Something.
Yeah.
All the pieces are there. Lem Siddons settles down in a small town and becomes the scoutmaster. Written by McKinley. McKinley. I was going to say McKinley.
I think
McKinley. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm just
McKinley. Yes. McKinley Cantor.
He wrote more than 30 novels, several set during the American Civil War, and was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 1956. for his 1955 novel, Andersonville. Cantor was noted for his limited use of punctuation within his literary compositions. He was known for a lack of quotation marks and was influential in this regard on Cormac McCarthy, who said that Cantor was the first writer he encountered who left them out. During his assignment with the U.S. troops in World War II, Cantor encountered, I wanted to say this correctly, Buchenwald, a concentration camp, as they liberated it, April 14th, 1945.
That is crazy to me. So like as an embedded journalist, you're just like, what, assigned to troops, I guess, and you enter Buchenwald and you're like, oh, man.
Right?
That's wild.
I also got to tell you, that would have driven me crazy having characters talk back and forth without quotation. What a maniac to write that way. Why would you do that to your reader?
You know, it's art, baby. You know, it's a subversive, I don't know, man.
Sure. No, this is interesting to me. I always like this part of looking up stuff for these older movies because there actually is so much crazy stuff out there if you want to look for it. Because things were happening in the 60s, magazines were being made. Disney was making stuff and releasing things.
Yeah.
So it's so funny to come across some of these little pieces. Like in December 1966, the issue of Boys Life magazine, in a section called Making the Scene, it reads, Hip 234, Hip 234. Pay no attention to that marching bit early in the movies. Stop muttering that this isn't scouting. It's Filmland stuff where accuracy may be wiped out to make way for laughs. Plenty of those in this one, mingled with romance, sentiment, slapstick, and somewhat uneven idea of what modern scouting is really like. This story is of a great scoutmaster and his many troops from 1930s on down. It has something for everyone. As they say, you can't, however, fault it for its fun or its warmth or its main idea that scouting is great. And see the article Lights, Camera, Boom in this month's Boys Life for a hilarious incident during the production.
Oh, so that was a rough one.
God,
you all right? Are you
it's
good?
Terrible. But it's like you find weird stuff like this, and then you're like, well, okay, well now I got to go down to the section Lights, Camera, Boom.
Right.
And you read it, and so it's an article called Lights, Camera, Boom by Chick Coombs. Chick's retelling, he retells visiting the set the day the kids capture the intimidating Sherman M4 tank. The article was low on interesting insights into the movie, barring two pieces.
No.
So Fred McMurray was in the Scouts as a child in Madison, Wisconsin, and really had forgotten how to tie a sheepshank knot.
Yeah, that was a reoccurring gag in the movie. So that's funny that he actually didn't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it either.
And this is the other thing, is one of the child actors had mentioned to Chick, they declared that they were part of Walt Disney's Explorer Post 25, which met every Monday at the studio. I was like, what is this? What is Explorer Post 25? This sounds awesome.
Right?
When you look into Explorer Post 25, some of the boys on the set were actual Boy Scouts from Explorer Post 25. They were also the sons of Disney employees. And Gray Johnson wrote in the foreword to his father, Jimmy Johnson's book, Inside the Whimsy Works, My Life with the Walt Disney Production. Walt Disney needed Boy Scouts, lots of Boy Scouts, for the final scene of Follow Me Boys. No studio employee with a son was exempt. And of course, who wouldn't want to be in the movie? We spent a chaotic day on the Walt Disney Studio backlot, all marching around a fake city square in front of the fake Bijou Theater, following Fred McMurray's open convertible as he was heralded by the town as the best Boy Scout leader ever.
So it sounds like when it says, no studio employee with a son was exempt, sounds like this wasn't an option.
Yeah, but I don't know how many ended up staying scouts. Like that's an interesting thing is like how many actually stayed on being scouts.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're sort of like not mixing memories on this person's part, but from what I read, it was an actual, like there was the actual Explorer Troop 25 and then there were extras.
Totally.
But like these scouts were literally on set or on the lot doing stuff every Monday. They were in the Boy Scouts. Their troop was just posted out of Walt Disney because you need to have like a location, like a sponsor location or something like that.
No.
So, and they were like doing stuff, but then, I think the boys at the end of the movie, when they're walking across the bridge, I think that's them.
Yes. And then we found out that some of these boys who are in the troop, I don't know if it ended up being the entire troop, but some of the boys became this group called the Movie Teens.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And it says, Movie Teens presents Explorer Post number 25, BSA, Boy Scouts of America. And what the Movie Teens is, here's a brief history from one of their pamphlets. The Post was founded November 1961 and now is in its third year. So this was from a pamphlet from 63. And the idea of sponsoring an Explorer Post was received with enthusiasm by Walt Disney Studios. And upon its official backing, members were quick to join. Although most of the members were green, we were eager to learn all facts and production of a motion picture, script writing, directing, camera operation, art direction, and the jobs of the assistant director, grip, propsman, makeup artist, set director, art director, plus the long involved process of editing and fitting narration. Most important, we are learning a trade to prepare us for the business world. We are acquiring the realization of the teamwork and cooperation between each other necessary to successfully accomplish of not only producing a picture, but also reaching any worthwhile goal. Our present production, a film for an iDog Foundation for the Blind, is being done almost entirely on our own. We hope it will make more people aware of the activities and needs of this very important service for the blind. And so I think that's interesting because where it seems like all of these other troops, a lot of other troops are going out and, camping and fishing and everything. It feels like somehow these guys were allowed to take that idea of leadership and turn it into the movie business.
Yeah.
I don't know much more than that, but they did make a series of films that you were able to rent out. Like there's a part in here that says, how do you see movie teen films? And you could rent them. You could rent Trouble at Sagebrush Mesa and then Explorer Conference, Keen Teen of Willow Glen.
Oh, geez, dude. All right.
And it was all the people who worked for the Walt Disney Company. Like these are all their sons doing this, as we said before. But yeah, it's a fascinating little thing, and I'd never heard of the Movie Teens. I've never. It's never come up in anything else we've done.
Right.
And so it's an interesting little. I don't want to say lost, but I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
The Movie Teens. Yeah.
Movie Teens. The Keen Teen. We have talked a lot about the Boy Scouts.
It's true.
But we have not really defined the Boy Scouts.
Okay, you're getting into it now.
I know. And so everyone just brew a cup of coffee. We're going to be here for a second. But it seems like, why would you talk about a movie about the Boy Scouts, but then not remind everybody what the Boy Scouts is? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Scouting America, formerly the Boy Scouts of America. That's what it's called now. So don't call it the Boy Scouts. It's very sexist. Scouting America, people. It is the largest scouting organization and one of the largest youth organizations in the United States, with over 1 million youth, including nearly 200,000 female participants. Since its founding in 1910, about 130 million Americans have participated in its programs, which are served by more than 400,000 adult volunteers. How Scouting came about, how this specific organization came around. Because why? Why do we need a scouting organization specifically? Like, there's books about camping, just do that.
Right.
The progressive era in the United States reached its peak in the early 20th century as rapid urbanization raised concerns that boys were no longer developing qualities like patriotism, self-reliance, and individualism. In response, organizations such as the YMCA promoted programs focused on social welfare and the mental, physical, and moral development of young men. Around the same time, early scouting style groups began forming independently, including the Woodcraft Indians, founded by Ernest Thompson Seton in 1902, and the Sons of Daniel Boone, established by Daniel Carter Beard in 1905, both of which helped lay the groundwork for what would become the organization Scouting in America, or the organized Scouting in America. The modern Scouting movement began in England in 1907. England, of all places.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Under Robert Baden-Powell, drawing in part on Seton's ideas. In 1909, American publisher W.D. Du Bois was reportedly guided through a foggy London street by an unknown scout, an encounter that inspired him to bring the concept to the United States. He incorporated the Boy Scouts of America on February 8th, 1910, after which leadership and development of the program were quickly taken over by figures associated with the YMCA, including Edgar M. Robinson. With contributions from Seton, Beard, and others, the strong public support from former President Theodore Roosevelt, the organization expanded rapidly. Early groups like the Woodcraft Indians and Sons of Daniel Boone were eventually absorbed into the BSA, whose founding purpose emphasized building character through patriotism, courage, and self-reliance. And then I just wanted to give the brief mission, scout law, and scout oath. So we can all, well, because then we can all become scouts, like in our own little way. The mission of Scouting America is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling them the value of the scout oath and law.
Were you a scout? Do you know this?
I was not. I was not a scout.
Oh man, I was a scout, and I still rattle that off. I can still rattle that shit off. Dude.
Oh really?
I still got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I was never pushed into scouting.
See, that's the only reason I did it is because I was forced into it. I was forced to make it to Eagle Scout, and I had a horrible time in Scouts. But
yeah.
I also had a soft spot for it too because I did do a lot of cool stuff in Alice's and Scouts, and it's hard not to call it Boy Scouts because it's just what I grew up,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and I think it was because both of my parents were like they worked a lot. So the idea of like getting me back and forth to any extracurricular activity.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It was like, nah, man.
Taryn and I don't work a lot, and it's still like, okay, it's fucking scout night. God.
Yeah.
All right. Like our troop wanted that we needed like another den leader or something like that because one guy was retiring, and I was like, yeah. And then they were looking at me because I told them this is early days in her joining, and I was like, yeah, I was a scout too, and like, oh, that's cool, blah blah. And they were like looking at me every time, like, okay, so Mike's retiring. And I'm like, oh, they're going to make me do it. I know it. And I just didn't say a word because I'm like, there's no way. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
But like, there's no way. I can't, my modern sentimentalities of like, or sensibilities, I guess, of just staying home and not doing anything at all trump any sort of, interaction with a child that's not my own. I don't want to do that.
I know. I want to be Phyllis Neffler from the movie Troop Beverly Hills, where it's just like we set up a tent and then you teach everyone to go shopping for shoes and everything. So the scout law, a scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful,
thrifty,
brave,
clean, and reverent. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Come on now.
So if you all do that, you are an official scout.
I think that's how it works. Yeah.
Yes.
You say it, but if you say it 3 times, then you're an Eagle Scout.
All your badges just appear on you.
Yeah.
But before you can do any of that, you must take the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Yep. Absolutely,
Boom.
dude.
All right. So there. Now you guys just listen to this again, say everything I said, and you will be scouts.
That's right.
A little piece of trivia that I thought was cute is the bridge that exists on Aunt Hetty's property. You can see it in the background, and I think they walk over it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
In the downtime between shooting, the original kids, Troop 1, they would fish off that bridge.
Nice.
Yeah. They have fun, go fishing. And then at the beginning of the movie, when Hastings is driving his car down the dirt road, and it was kicking up all that. Yeah, it was kicking up all that dust.
Yeah.
That dust was flour bags tied to the back of the car.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I like
and
that.
when this took way too much time, I was telling Jason, this took so much of my time because I'm an insane person. But when the beginning of the movie, again, when Lem came in, he goes, "Hey, Melody, look, an electric," right? And they're talking about this electric carriage car. And it was really interesting. And that electric car that Lem sees is a 1915 Baker Light electric coupe. There's also a couple of different versions of it too. And it was created by the Baker Electric Company. And there were so many different types of vehicles like this. It's interesting. A lot of them look the same, but they were made by other companies as well. But the Baker electric car, I mean, there's one's going all the way back to, I think, like the 1909, to get the ones that had this exact lamp light on the front, because they have very distinct, it's got headlights, which is interesting, but then it has these 2 beautiful decorative lamps on either side of the car.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the whole inside is just upholstered. There's curtains, these beautiful curtains.
Of course, why not?
And this car retailed for $2,475, which is equal to now monies of $29,000.
That's so cheap.
Still a good deal, to be honest.
Absolutely. I mean, the range is probably 4 seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
But still,
it's from here to the malt shop.
Yeah.
But
not back again. But
yeah. You have to plug in there. But this car was seen again in the movie Pollyanna and The Happiest Millionaire.
Nice.
So I was, again, kind of fascinated from like our 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea conversation about how far back electric things actually go.
Yeah.
We kind of just forget that history. Like electric cars came around in 1903, I think, is what we'd said.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank the oil and gas lobby.
Apparently.
And
we've gone through all of this. And I think what I'd like to close with, to be honest, is something that we all like: pep pills.
Yes.
We all want to talk about pep pills.
I heard that and I was like, I think I know what these are, but I don't know.
This is a great thing to close on, everyone. This is good education for the history of medicine in our country. Also, I like the patented tonics. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So, patent medicines were one of the first major product categories that the advertising industry promoted. Patent medicine promoters pioneered many advertising and sales techniques that were later used for other products. Accept no substitutes being a common catchphrase that you would have probably seen.
Yeah. I mean, you see it kind of now in like 50s and 60s marketing, but that was like late 1800s, early 1900s marketing.
Absolutely.
For these things. Yeah. That's wild.
I feel like this is so interesting right now. The pep pill stuff, and like, what people are seeing with like kratom. Like, are you familiar with kratom and everything like that?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it feels like just shit don't change,
No,
sometimes.
it doesn't. Everyone's trying to figure out a natural way to feel better, whatever that means to them. Yeah.
Get up to get down, baby.
Yep.
But few, if any, of the nostrums were actually patented. Chemical patents did not come into use in the United States until 1925. And patenting one of these remedies would have meant publicly disclosing its ingredients, which most promoters sought to avoid.
I bet, dude.
Just like lamb's knuckles.
Yeah. Can you imagine though, like selling things for human consumption and you don't have to list what's in it?
Nope.
You can just literally make it up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to even be exact from batch to batch.
Yes. This is the fanciest version of snake oil. I mean, truly snake oil. It's like, it's literally like Indian ink, grease, lilacs.
Yeah.
And it's good for your nerves. Rub it on your joints. Common ingredients included alcohol, sometimes over 40%, which is great. Get them drunk secretly, and they're just going to think it works.
Just enough to feel good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get opium, cocaine, cannabis, mercury, and chloroform. Those were sleepy time pills for your kids.
Yes.
Dr. Sleepy's sleepy time chloroform. Patent medicine sales in the United States in the early 20th century became more tightly controlled as the FDA and Federal Trade Commission added ever-increasing regulations to prevent fraud, unintentional poisoning, and deceptive advertising. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing your job. A famous patent medicine of the period was Dr. Kilmer's swamp root. Unspecified roots found in swamps. Fantastic. Doesn't this remind you of what that guy was selling in The Treasure of Matacumbe?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the scene that I remember,
right?
That I recall like reading this and like, wait a minute, I know exactly. Now I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I assumed, but like I guess I never realized like patent medicine stuff was that prevalent.
Yeah.
And I knew that like the first real use case of like marketing, like widespread advertising was like to sell Coca-Cola and stuff like this. And so you kind of put it all together and you're just like, wow, we really needed to be sold to.
Yeah.
I
was just, various roots. You say it a certain way. God, sellers of liniments claimed to contain snake oil and falsely promoted as a cure-all made the snake oil salesman a lasting symbol of a charlatan. Absolutely. And when they say snake oil, they literally mean pressing snakes and extracting some kind of fluid or oil.
I was reading about this and it was like one of the more famous like snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
He was like at a World's Fair or some kind of like state fair pressing snakes as a public demonstration to extract their oils or whatever. And then like later on someone tested it and it was just like castor oil and chili peppers, I guess, for like, the heat, like, it's a rattlesnake. So it must,
you feel that
must
sting?
have spice. Yeah. But they're like, I never knew, literally they're pressing snakes.
This guy has a mound of snake corpses for no reason.
Yeah.
And there's no use for them. I love it. You understand, I'm getting his liquid vitality out. Oh, God. Many brands from that era live on today in brands such as Luden's cough drops and even Angostura bitters.
Yeah, all you cocktail heads.
Yep.
There you go.
Walt Disney produced a comic, Mickey Mouse and the Medicine Man, about Mickey and Pluto discovering a stimulant patent drug, Peppo, which they sold in Africa.
Don't worry, folks. There's no way this could be racist at all. There's no way.
Don't look into it any further. Just take our word for it.
You're right.
In 1913, the quack John R. Brinkley, calling himself an electromedic doctor, began injecting men with colored water as a virility cure, claiming it was electric medicine from Germany.
Electric medicine sounds like a fucking awesome synthwave band.
Right? We are electric medicine. You will be healed. Brinkley would go on to even greater infamy through transplanting goat testicles into men's scrotums as a virility treatment.
I mean,
fantastic.
Look, the colored water wasn't working. Let's take goat balls.
I
Just
love
give you a third ball.
I love the idea. I love the idea of this guy just chucking in a goat ball and just letting it die inside,
rot,
letting it rot in you.
And why goats?
Yes,
I don't think goats are particularly known for being virile. I would, but maybe they are. I have no idea.
Some consumer products were once marketed as patent medicines, but have been repurposed and are no longer sold for medicinal purposes. The original ingredients may have been changed to remove drugs, as was done with Coca-Cola. The compound may also simply be used in a different capacity, as in the case of Angostura bitters, now associated chiefly with cocktails. So things like 7-Up, Angostura, Coca-Cola, Fernet Branca. Is that supposed to be Fernet?
No, I think Fernet is like it's like an Italian. It's like an Angostura, but not as good.
Graham crackers of all things, grape nuts, one of my favorites, and then Pepsi Cola.
Grape nuts.
I like grape nuts.
I love grape nuts, but like as some sort of like patent medicine, that's wild. Dude.
I'm eating my grape nuts because they have 15% amphetamines in them. Okay, so that is about the patented tonics and the whatnot. Yes. So this is specifically, we're going to end specifically on them pep pills.
Okay.
Because the pep pills, these kept our boys going.
That's right. You know,
when they wanted to lay down, this brought them up.
Yeah.
So more than 35 million 3 milligram doses of Pervitin, one of the earlier forms of methamphetamine, were manufactured for the German Army and Air Force between April and July 1940.
That's a lot of pills in, what is that? 3-4 months?
Yes. This amounts to only 3 tablets per serviceman a month. After April 1941, the drug was no longer distributed to servicemen on a mass scale due to its dangerous side effects, and several deaths were attributed to Pervitin. Use continued, albeit closely monitored. So so they still used it, but they were like, okay, well, we're going to keep close eye on this.
Yeah.
Sure,
the close eye. Yeah. The military is really well known for keeping a close eye on what its servicemen do.
Right. They lose like tens of millions of dollars of equipment, but we'll make sure we remember these guys taking the pills. Okay.
Yeah.
In the military, Pervitin was discouraged during combat due to its negative side effects. It was more commonly abused behind the front lines. In Japan, methamphetamine was sold under the registered trademark Philippon by, I'm going to butcher these names, Danapon Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, there you go.
For civilian and military use. Oh, that's great. I love that civilians could get involved too.
Sure, why not? Why can't we? Right?
Yes. It has been estimated that 1 billion Philippon pills were produced between 1939 and 1945. In the 1940s and 50s, the drug was widely administered to Japanese industrial workers to increase their productivity. Amphetamine was also given to Allied bomber pilots during World War II to sustain them by fighting off fatigue and enhancing focus during long fights. And that is true. It's, yes. I mean, obviously all the people were doing it, but one of the things that I'm given to understand is that our boys early on found these pep pills on German soldiers, and they found out that Germans were staying up, with all this pep. And so we're like, well, I mean, if they're staying up pepped, then we can't be any less.
Too.
We cannot be any less. And so, we kind of took their lead and started pepping ourselves in World War II as well.
Absolutely.
And people don't talk about that. I wonder why. During the Persian Gulf War, amphetamines became the drug of choice for American bomber pilots, being used voluntarily by roughly half the U.S. Air Force pilots.
Jesus, dude.
Yes. The Tarnak Farm incident during the war in Afghanistan, 2001 to 2021,
Yeah.
in which an American F-16 pilot killed several friendly Canadian soldiers on the ground, was blamed by the pilot as his use of amphetamines. So he's like,
Good
I was
stuff.
high, I was shooting people.
Yeah, target to target now, boys.
My head was the fog of war, baby.
Yeah, and that's all related to that tiny little clip where Whitey is like, look, we've all seen you eating these pet pills and taking these patent medicines to try to keep up. Yeah, so Lem Siddons is high on meth and a mixture of chemicals.
But
and he's just out there building bridges and hiking, and he's
Right?
just, his little heart is going bop, 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 bop.
But it also makes you wonder, because, and so that is where my trivia for this movie ends. But it is a funny thing to end on, because this movie is so wholesome, and the general atmosphere of this is like slice of life, people doing stuff. And it is kind of interesting that they sort of gloss over what Lem would have acted like, all gacked out on these pep pills when he's out there. Let's keep moving, boys. Get those things going. Just get that up. Come on, Charlie. We got to be getting going.
Just sweat
grinding
pouring down
his
his
teeth.
face. That's why he was always up early before the boys, shaving.
Right?
And
No, totally. But it's like, then we see him and he's like, I'm not going to eat any of this milk toast. And it's like,
yeah,
no, you didn't see yourself out there, dude. You got up at 3 a.m. and you had 8 things of lumber on each arm, just talking to yourself.
Absolutely.
Tweaking out. What a great movie.
All right. Well, very good, Matt. Thank you very much. Good work. All right. Well, that's it. That's Follow Me, boys. A Fred McMurray vehicle. I would like to go to wherever they shot this. It looks like some parts of like Griffith Park, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to like, it'd be cool to do those like before and after pictures, like what this old time photograph looks like now. But you know, who knows if you could even find that kind of nonsense. But I love the movie. I'm glad that you liked the movie too, or at least you didn't hate it. You know,
No, I really did. I actually enjoyed it. This might be something I watch again, like just for fun. Put it on in the background.
Yeah,
like I
man.
did really like it, and I'm glad that we watched it.
Yeah, it's a cool flick, and if you guys haven't seen it, I highly suggest you check it out. It was a good time.
Who thinks we should make a shirt called "Follow Me, Buena Vista Boys"?
Jeez, dude, that would be pretty funny. That'd be pretty good. All right, everyone, thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you want to catch up on any other episodes, we have 2 more seasons in the back catalog. You can go check those out. Do whatever you want with them. We have a website for any other information you may want to get for the rest of the shows on our network, like Ears Up, which is our main kind of Disneyland focused show, history show. We also have Supreme Resort. We have Scraping the Vault. We have for you Marvel people, we have Puny Pod. For you Star Wars people, we have Bantha Mill. We have a lot of stuff going on. So you can get all that information over there on the website, which is earsup-podcast.com. Matt, thank you again one more time. I appreciate all your hard work. And until next time, everyone, we'll see you later.
Bye.
I've never met a man who admitted he couldn't fix an automobile.
Well, that's me.